it's one of the biggest sports weekends of the year for the Lone Star State, with both Major League Baseball teams starting their playoff runs. The Cowboys taking on the Niners, and of course the Red River rivalry. And tonight we get a full slate of Texas high school football to get us started for this momentous weekend. Hello and welcome into week number 7 of Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight here on the campus of the University of North Texas. Nick Laupius alongside Ish Johnson. And Ish, again, like we've seen all throughout the season, we had a couple of exciting finishes last week, and with some great matchups this week going in, looks like we're going to have another very exciting Friday night.
Yeah, if last night's games were any indication of what we're potentially in for tonight,
Yep.
right, we're going to be in for some fun. This is going to be another prove-it week for me. A lot of teams last week that are kind of bubbling to the surface as contenders, trying to figure out, right, if they're actually going to be contending for that district title, playoff spots. Tonight, I think we even have more potentially matchups like that, so let's get into it. I'm very excited for this one.
All right, yeah, we got some great matchups in our Week 7 slate of spotlight games. We take a look at those now. And yeah, again, a lot of very fun district matchups. We take a look. We got Baytown Lee versus Barbers Hill, Klein Collins and Tomball Memorial. Katy Jordan coming off a heartbreaking loss where they were going step with step with Katy. They will take on Katy Seco Ranch tonight. Duncanville taking on a scrappy Waxahachie team that's gotten off to a pretty good start this year. Dallas Campbell, they've rattled off 3 consecutive wins. They will take on South Oak Cliff, and Hendrickson taking on A&M Consolidated, the Week 7 spotlight games. And some of the guys that will be joining us on the show later tonight, we'll have James Kolowaski on the call for Klein Collins and Tomball Memorial. Michael Silvers, rather, on the call for Katy Jordan and Cinco Ranch. Tommy Yarish will be on the headset for Dallas Kimball and South Oak Cliff, and Johnny Beza on the call for Hendrickson versus A&M Consolidated. So again, we'll be checking in with them throughout the night to get a first-hand glimpse of their games. And again, another exciting matchup or week of our spotlight games. What are 1 or 2 that really stand out for you?
Yeah, I'm going to go to Houston for 15-6A, excuse me, Klein Collins and Tomball Memorial. Klein Collins looking for their 3rd consecutive district championship. They've really ran through this district. Really didn't matter the classification of what team comes in and out. 12-1 the past 2 years. But Tomball Memorial, similarly to last week where we had with Katy Jordan, similarly to the beginning of the year with Atascocita, where it was these other teams kind of rising to the top of the Houston area. Is Tomball Memorial next? We'll see. They have one of the best offenses in the state right now, putting up, I believe, over 50 points a game. But also looking at the Dallas area, 2 teams in particular that kind of have a kind of a lax schedule in district, South Oak Cliff and Duncanville. They're probably going to get some of their best tests. Obviously, we'll get Duncanville DeSoto later this year, but Waxahachie's a pretty good test. And at South Oak Cliff, they ran through the DISD district last year. They always do. But Kimball, we'll see if Kimball's probably the best team they're going to face until they get to the playoffs.
Yeah, they've rattled off 3 in a row after they kind of fell flat in the Oak Cliff Super Bowl about a month ago. But yeah, they've rattled off 3 straight. So yeah, should be a couple of very exciting games. But hey, like you mentioned, we had some exciting games last night, and we hope it's kind of the same for tonight. But we take a look at an undefeated showdown last night as Summer Creek taking on North Shore. We'll get right into the action. This is the junior quarterback, Caleb Bailey. How about a 60-yard pitch and catch for Terrence Gilroy, the receiver, strolling into the end zone, and North Shore takes a 7-0 lead early on. Again, both these teams 5-0 going into the contest. On the other side, it's going to be Summer Creek responding with a nice drive, and that's Lloyd Avent going right up the middle. And that tied the game at 7 early on in the first quarter. Jumping ahead into the second, Caleb Bailey, and this time he's going to showcase the speed. He's got a rushing touchdown this time, and that makes it 14-7 North Shore. But again, as we would see throughout the night, Summer Creek responding with a big play of their own. It's Avent again, this time 32 yards for the running back. His 2nd rushing touchdown of the game. That would tie it at 14. And we're not done with this first half just quite yet. Caleb Bailey again, a dart right over the middle, connecting with Cameron Smith, 28-yard pitch and catch. That would take a 21-14 lead into the half. Going into the third quarter, Blake Thomas connecting with Cordell Rogers. What about that for a 9-yard grab? Tied the game at 21. So again, just going back and forth. and it's tied into the fourth quarter. Here's a chance to take the lead, and the field goal attempt is blocked. North Shore keeps it at a 21-21 game, and they would take advantage because it's Caleb Bailey again. The quarterback run just right up the middle, shows the patience, runs it up the middle, and North Shore would escape with a very big 31-20 win over Summer Creek. We had Trevor Bullard on the call as we go to him for his instant reaction.
All right, gonna do post-game thoughts here for the show. In the car, waiting for traffic to die down. A little bit of a madhouse here, pretty packed house tonight. North Shore survived Summer Creek 31-21. What a ball game it was. North Shore scored on the second play from scrimmage, 60-yard touchdown pass by Caleb Bailey. He was great tonight. He had 4 total touchdowns, 2 on the ground, 2 through the air. Did have 2 turnovers that were kind of costly. Summer Creek was able to score both their turnovers. Lloyd Avant, Tulsa commit, looked great as well. Scored on a 3rd and goal. Also scored on a 32-yard touchdown on a 4th and 2. He did his part. But Summer Creek, they just kept on coming. We were tied up at 21. They never led the ball game. North Shore either had the lead or they were tied. But we were tied 21-all in the fourth quarter. Summer Creek looking to take their first lead of the night on a 25-yard field goal. It gets blocked. And North Shore picks it up, and Caleb Bailey does his thing, scoring his final touchdown, 28-21. And then after that, tack on a little late field goal to put the game on ice, 31-21. But I think both teams, this is heartbreaking for Summer Creek. They've never beaten North Shore last 2 years. They've been awfully close. Lost by 7 last year, lost by 10, but it feels like even closer this year. I mean, they had it. They just, couldn't quite get over the finish line. But, I mean, this is a team that's won the region every single year since 2018, a team that hasn't lost a district game since 2017. So, there's some positives. And I think, North Shore, they finally got pushed, which I think is good for Coach Gaston's squad because they hadn't been pushed all year. Big matchup coming up in a couple weeks against Atascocita. And then I think it's good for Summer Creek. It showed, we had some questions. Are they for real? They beat a good Klein Collins squad, but are they for real? And, despite the loss, I think they're going to be for real. Going to be a lot of fun to see what they do in Region 2. Last couple years, Katie's had their number, but maybe Katie goes D1, or maybe they don't, and Summer Creek beats them, because I think this team can really make a push, not only for a regional championship, but maybe an appearance at Jerry World, which would be quite impressive. Can you imagine if there was two teams from the same district? Happened last year with Duncanville, DeSoto. Might happen this year with 21-6A. We'll see. A lot of season left, but North Shore still undefeated. Summer Creek did make a statement that they are a darn good team, and we'll be in that mix for the appearance at Jerry World in D2. But North Shore 6-0 and still unbeaten on the year and 3-0 in district play.
Well, again, always great to hear from Trevor Bullard, and that was a very fun game. And yeah, big win for North Shore to improve to 6-0, a big district game. A couple undefeated teams. Summer Creek hung around for quite a while.
Yeah, I mean, this proves Summer Creek is going to be a team to be reckoned with in well past Thanksgiving, potentially into AT&T. Like Trevor said, if we can get 2 teams from this district into playing for state, that'd be amazing. North Shore is who they are. 39-game win streak in district, right? This is one of the closer games they've had, though, right? Typically, it's only been Atascocita that's going to push them in that district. I do want to say, Kenny Harrison from Summer Creek told the Houston Chronicle, this is the first time our secondary was tested, of course going against Caleb Bailey, and we have to go watch the film on things that we need to correct. So I think there is something to take, right? There's coachable moments, but also there's something that they should be pretty proud of, saying like, we were able to push this team for so long. Of course, they're able to win out. They've always won out in this district, but I think this is a good stepping stone potentially for what they could be this year.
Yeah, so one Thursday game, that was a high-scoring game. It looks like we had another very exciting game last night that went down to the wire. This one, maybe not as many points. We'll get to that on the other side of the break. You're watching week number 7 of Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight.
Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Texas Army National Guard are honored to present the Coach of the Week Award, celebrating one head coach in 7 different classifications. That's 6A all the way down to 6-man, and of course private school every single week. Think your head coach deserves some recognition? Nominate them under our weekly Twitter and Facebook post. Those will come out Friday at 10:30 p.m., Saturday 8:30 p.m., and Sunday at 6:30 p.m. That's facebook.com/Dave Campbell's or at DCTF on Twitter. Thank you to Texas Army National Guard for helping spotlight the hard work and dedication of high school head coaches across Texas.
Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Ozarka will announce 7 Team of the Week winners for 14 weeks of the Texas high school football season from Class 6A down to 6-man and including private schools. Head to texasfootball.com, go to the awards tab, and find Ozarka Team of the Week to see this season's winners and vote for your program to be named. Winners are announced every Wednesday on Twitter and Facebook.
Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Panini America are teaming up this season to honor the best high school quarterbacks across the state of Texas. 7 quarterbacks, 1 in each classification, 1A through 6A in private schools, will be named Quarterback of the Week and will receive a virtual Panini America trading card to commemorate their performance. Check out which outstanding quarterback was selected each Tuesday morning on the Dave Campbell's Twitter and Facebook pages.
Let's go to Cy-Fair Stadium, and we're going to check out Cy Falls versus Cy Bridgeland, the other game last night. Not as high scoring, but some action nonetheless. We're going to start it here in the first quarter. It's going to be Bridgeland junior quarterback Jet Lewis on a 3-yard run. He's going to scan the field, but he's going to decide to take it himself, down to the corner of the end zone. The Bears go up 7-0. A little hint of how this game went. We're going to be in the fourth quarter the next time some points get on the board here. Braden Bitnett from Cy Falls is going to kick a 32-yard field goal to put Cy Falls on the board, and they're going to drive down the field again to take the lead late, 10-9, thanks to this 4-yard run from Trey Morris. But this is going to be Cy Bridgeland's night. Santiago Torres, as time expires, a 22-yard field goal, 12-10 walk-off field goal. You see college guys miss kicks all the time, so we're not going to take this one for granted. A huge win. They're going to take this one. The Bears are 12-10 over the Eagles in a massive game. Chris Elliott was on the call for this one, and here are his thoughts.
A entertaining Thursday night under the lights from Cy-Fair Federal Credit Union Stadium and Cy-Fair ISD as the Bridgeland Bears get a walk-off 25-yard field goal from Santiago Torres to stay perfect here in 2023 in District 16-6A. They are currently in first place as they defeated the Cy Falls Eagles, who took their first lead of the ballgame in the fourth quarter. It was a 7-0 halftime score as Bridgeland offense in the first half was in Eagles territory the entire time. Their second possession of the game, they score a touchdown, go up 7-0. Their following possession, they were lining up a field goal to go up 10-0. That field goal was blocked. The next 3 possessions got into the Cy Falls red zone, and all 3 ended with turnover on downs, turnover, an INT at the goal line, and turnover. 7-0 at half. In the second half, it was no offense. Bridgeland's offense was anemic in that second half. Tip your cap to the Cy Falls defense as they bent but didn't break the entire night. They kicked a field goal to go down 7-3. They get an INT on the ensuing possession from Bridgeland, and so they took over at the Bridgeland 34-yard line. 5 plays later, Trey Morris, who had over 100 yards rushing on the night, got his only touchdown of the game. It made it a 10-7 Cy Falls lead. Late in the fourth quarter, punting from their own end zone, Cy Falls gets their punt blocked. It skids through that south end zone here at Cy-Fair Federal Credit Union Stadium, making it a 10-9 game. With 2 minutes and 20 seconds, Bridgeland got the football at their own 30-yard line and drove down the field all the way to the 17-yard line and lined up to the 7-yard line and lined up a 25-yard field goal. They spiked it with 3 seconds to go, and Santiago Torres came in and banged it through into that south field goal, and a 12-10 final score goes the way of the Bridgeland Bears. They moved to 5-1 overall, 3-0 in district. They're in first place in a jam-packed 16-6A. A great game on a Thursday night right here on Dave Campbell's Texan Live.
Wow, so a huge win for the Bears to improve to 3-0 in district play, and it's always fun to watch some of those defensive struggles. And then, hey, like you said, some college kickers miss that type of kick. So huge to get that winning field goal.
Yeah, Santiago Torres definitely has a moment he's going to remember for a while, right? But I do want to mention, Bridgeland was coming off a season high in points last week, and they were in a slugfest with the Cy Falls team, right? So I do want to give some credit to the Cy Falls defense. This is kind of the game they wanted, definitely. Yep. But of course, Bridgeland, this kind of sets up now potentially a de facto district championship game in week 11 when they play Cy Springs. So a massive win for them, obviously. So I want to give credit to, obviously, Santiago Torres, because we mentioned kickers aren't always a guarantee at the next level. So when you hit something like this, it's a huge moment for him. But also, just goes to show kind of how up and down this district's going to be this year, right? Potentially 3, maybe 4 teams in it for contention now.
Well, you were talking about at the beginning of the show, we had some exciting Thursday night games with big district implications. We got another great slate of games tonight, and hopefully those are as exciting what we saw the first couple of last night. We'll take a look. We'll start checking in with some of those games that are in progress across the Lone Star State as you are watching week number 7 of Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight.
There's only one state in the nation with 13 Division I FBS programs, and there's only one podcast that talks about every single one of them. Introducing the Dave Campbell's Republic of Football podcast, the most complete coverage of the Lone Star State. Join host Ishmael Johnson, Carter Yates, and Mallory Hartley live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. for the biggest news and weekly previews on all Texas FBS programs. Can't catch every college football game on Saturdays? We've got you covered with recap episodes Sunday mornings with senior writer Mike Craven checking in. Subscribe everywhere you get your podcasts, including Spotify and Apple. Strap in with your host Ishmael Johnson, producer Mallory Hartley, senior writer Mike Craven, and college writer Carter Yates for a ride that'll last from now throughout the season.
Need your daily football fix? Look no further than Texas Football Today, the daily live show from the people that bring you Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Every weekday at noon, Greg Tepper and Ashley Pickle bring you the latest news, deep dive analysis, insightful interviews with big name guests, and more. And if you ever miss an episode, you can subscribe to the Texas Football Today podcast to keep up with all the fun. Don't miss Texas Football Today every weekday at noon at texasfootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, and subscribe to Texas Football Today wherever you get your podcasts. Nobody covers Texas high school football like Tep and Step, the premium high school football podcast from Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Dig deep into the sport in every corner of the state with high school football insider Matt Stepp and managing editor Greg Tepper, with game previews, unique insights, and bold predictions. Get Tep and Step by becoming a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber at texasfootball.com/subscribe.
We might not be good at many things, but there is one thing that we crushed, and that's naming a stinking podcast. WTF. Yes, it's exactly what you're thinking. Women talking football. Oh, you thought it meant something else? You might be right. Tune in every Thursday at 2 p.m. as me, Ashley Pickle, and everyone's favorite Mal pal, Mallory Hartley, bring you in-depth analysis of every region of the Lone Star State, talk ball with reporters across Texas, get the real scoop from coaches' wives, and all the other nonsense that comes along with the two of us being allowed to talk into a microphone. Join the party Thursdays at 2 o'clock on the Dave Campbell's Texas Football YouTube page. Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Texas Army National Guard are honored to present the Coach of the Week Award, celebrating one head coach in 7 different classifications. That's 6A all the way down to 6-man, and of course, private school every single week. Think your head coach deserves some recognition? Nominate them under our weekly Twitter and Facebook post. Those will come out Friday at 10:30 p.m., Saturday 8:30 p.m., and Sunday at 6:30 p.m. That's facebook.com/Dave Campbell's or at DCTF on Twitter. Thank you to Texas Army National Guard for helping spotlight the hard work and dedication of high school head coaches across Texas.
Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Ozarka will announce 7 Team of the Week winners for 14 weeks of the Texas high school football season from Class 6A down to 6-man and including private schools. Head to texasfootball.com, go to the awards tab, and find Ozarka Team of the Week to see this season's winners and vote for your program to be named. Winners are announced every Wednesday on Twitter and Facebook.
Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Panini America are teaming up this season to honor the best high school quarterbacks across the state of Texas. 7 quarterbacks, 1 in each classification, 1A through 6A in private schools, will be named Quarterback of the Week and will receive a virtual Panini America trading card to commemorate their performance. Check out which outstanding quarterback was selected each Tuesday morning on the Dave Campbell's Twitter and Facebook pages.
Welcome back to Texas Football Tonight, right here on Texan Live in the campus of the University of North Texas. Nick Laupius, Ish Johnson with you here on the desk, and we've already got, I believe, a couple of games already going into halftime. And
some early starters.
Yeah, one of the games that's in halftime already features Katy Jordan, a team that went right down to the wire last week with Katy, where the Tigers were able to pull away at the last second, but it looks like Katy Jordan off to a pretty good start the following week, and looks like they're picking up where they left off, and already with a nice lead at halftime as now we bring in Michael Silvers and Brent Hallmark, who are joining us. They're on the call out there right now. Michael and Brent, again, thank you so much for joining us, and looks like so far, again, Katy Jordan getting off to a pretty good start, kind of where their offense picked off last week.
Yeah, absolutely. The Warriors outgained Katy in that game last week, and save for a couple of mistakes, they could be the ones undefeated coming into this game, and they're getting a great response. You know, last year they lost to Katy, and they followed that up with a loss to Cinco Ranch, and things kind of spiraled downward where they ended up being 5-5 at the conclusion of the season, and they missed the playoffs. A great response. They're up by 27-7 at intermission.
And it's all due to execution on both offense and defense. Their quarterback, Colin Willits, has been just phenomenal in his passing, his response from his receivers. If he's throwing it short, they're coming back for it. The bombs that he's been throwing have been right on target. You really couldn't ask for anything more than he's getting from your offense.
Yeah, he's 11 for 11 in the first half, guys, for 235 yards, 4 touchdowns to 4 different receivers, including on the game's very first play where he hit Deacon Stanfield for 69 and a touchdown.
Yeah, I'll say, my first question was actually going to be about Colin Willits. He had his first 2 interceptions last week. What does it say? You mentioned 11 for 11. What's it say about him for him to be able to shake off his first big mistakes and then go into this game against another tough team in district and start off like this?
Well, it shows that he's a battle-tested senior. That's for one thing. He's well over 4,000 yards for his career. He's been the only starting quarterback this program has ever known, and he shows that he can respond with the kind of performance he's had in the first half. He's just been absolutely brilliant.
And he has been, and it's been showing on the field well tonight. And in the second half, the Cougars are going to have to account for that.
Indeed. The Cinco Ranch, they're starting a sophomore quarterback, Davis Roop, who came up from the JV about 3 weeks ago. He did set and tie a school record with 6 touchdown passes in a game against Morton Ranch a couple of weeks ago, but he's been under duress. The Jordan defense has harassed him all night long. They have turned the ball over 4 times on down, so they've got a lot of work to do in the second half if they want to make this a little more competitive than the 20-point spread at halftime.
Yeah, I was going to say a little bit about the Jordan defense now. They've been great all year, except for, I believe, aside from the Aldine Davis game, I think they've given them just single digits all year until last week. So, you know, how big is it for them to really, I mean, you mentioned it, frustrate a kid who's still learning the JV game and kind of make things difficult for him? You know, has that, I don't say that surprised you, but how have you kind of seen that play out?
Well, they're the number 1 defense in District 19 6A for a reason, and it's because they can harass the quarterback and they can fly to the football. And that has been on display here in the first half, their defensive prowess.
And you know that this was part of their game plan also, is to keep him off of his game, keep him fluttered and not knowing where they're going to come from. That's one of the adjustments that the coaches for the Cougars are going to have to make. They're going to have to give him some blocking. They're going to have to put in something to give him some time to execute, because when he does throw, his balls are off target, and it's usually because of the pressure that the Warriors are thrusting upon him.
Yeah, he's 8 of 20 for just 89 yards in the first half. Davis Roop, the sophomore quarterback for the Cougars.
Wow. All right. Well, again, Michael Silvers, Brett Hallmark, thank you so much for joining us. Don't want to take up too much of your time. Enjoy the rest of your halftime break and enjoy that second half. All right. So, again, yeah, a good bounce back so far for Katie Jordan. Again, you knew that they were going to take a lot of positives from that loss last week, and it looks like they're doing just that.
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned, Colin Willits was perfect heading into last week. I believe he had 11 touchdowns and no interceptions, threw 2 against Katy because, Katie's one of the best defenses really in the state consistently. So for him to bounce back and not only have a great game, but perfect, 11 for 11 so far, and really put their foot, like they mentioned, they lost this game last year after losing to Katy. So again, they got to keep it up for the second half as well, but the fact that they came out like this on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively, says that they took the right lessons from that Katy game.
Yeah. So, yeah, good start to that first half for Katy Jordan. It looks like we got some highlights starting to roll in.
Yeah, let's go to the District of Doom at DFW. Cedar Hill and Mansfield. Mansfield unbeaten right now. Cedar Hill still holding on to that one win. Anthony Edwards right here. We're going to start in the first quarter. Quarterback Anthony Edwards is going to find Keon Bright throwing it deep in the end zone, perfectly placed. That's going to put Cedar Hill up 7-0. But guess what? Cedar Hill was not done. We're going to stay here the first quarter. This is going to be Cedric Castleberry who's going to get the handoff. He's going to run, follow his blockers, make one move right there in the end zone. 14-0 Longhorns, and guess what? They're not done. Castleberry, again, right up the middle this time. He's going to take it. Great physical run, still going. Oh my goodness, they couldn't bring him down. Makes one man miss, spins. Can he get there? Just almost there, not quite at the 1, but they're going to let him finish things off. It's going to be Castleberry again, right up the gut. 21-0 Cedar Hill. Let me remind you, Cedar Hill is 1-4 right now. Mansfield 5-0 heading into this game. Potentially a huge win for the Longhorns.
Wow. An impressive run.
Yeah, I was about to say, you might as well give it to him at the you can't throw a pass after you have that kind of run, right?
Yeah.
You got to let him finish it off. So.
All right, here we go. We got a couple of games going right now. A&M Consolidated and Hendrickson, one of our spotlight games. Looks like a 14-0 lead early on for A&M Consolidated in that contest.
Yeah. By the way, I do want to give a shout out to the field, one of the best names. It's Pflugerville, so it's they got the PF right there at the midfield. So I've always loved that they've played really on that. So. That's a really interesting matchup for me. I believe Hendrickson lost to Georgetown last week, and Georgetown's kind of one of the bigger teams in that district that's kind of looking to kind of break away from the pack. We'll see, but I do think this is going to be an interesting matchup if Hendrickson can bounce back.
All right, and I think we've got Mitch Mason, who is on the call with Duncanville and Waxahachie. Mitch, it's great to have you back on the show. Looks like Duncanville off to a good start, and looks like they're blanking the Waxahachie offense at the moment.
Hey, fellas, it's good to talk to you again. Yeah, it's business as usual for the Duncanville Panthers. They're in pursuit of their 44th straight district victory. It's just been pure domination from the opening minutes of this quarter of this game, I should say. And 30-0 doesn't really even fully describe just how dominant they've been.
Yeah, how surprising is that? Because this is a Waxahachie team that hung with DeSoto for a little bit. I think that got away from them late. But how big is it for Duncanville just to come out and say, no, this actually isn't going to be a close game, despite what people may have thought after that Waxahachie-DeSoto game?
Yeah, it's huge, right? I think you can look at maybe some of the opponents that Duncanville's faced since South Oak Cliff and go, okay, when's the other shoe going to drop, though? Surely they're not that dominant. This is a well-coached team by Shane Tollison, who's known for his defensive prowess, right? And Waxahachie is throwing everything they can at them. Multiple looks, blitzes off the edge. They're dropping multiple safeties into coverage. It doesn't matter. Keelan Russell, Caden Durham, and this offense have operated with peak efficiency. They take care of the football against an Indians defense that has 12 takeaways on the season so far. They just don't make mistakes, and that has been the difference in this game. Waxahachie hasn't made many mistakes, but when they have, Duncanville's capitalized on them.
I guess my only real question when it comes to this Duncanville team is, have you seen a weakness yet? Because it looks like everybody's just waiting for that DeSoto-Duncanville game, seemingly every year, but of course this year especially. Have you seen a way that this team can get got yet?
Other than beating themselves, the answer is no. And I've watched a lot of football. I've called a lot of football games. We were talking about that actually during the second quarter. Unless Duncanville is turning the football over, unless they're committing sloppy penalties, they have the talent advantage every single time they step on the field. And their offense is so methodical. It's so diverse. They have so many playmakers all around the field. I mean, they can give it to Caden Durham, who's got over 100 all-purpose yards tonight. They can throw it to DeCorian Moore, the top wide receiver in the 2025 class. They can hurt you a lot of ways. And the defense, guys, Waxahachie's not an offensive juggernaut, but they've run some trick plays. They've done a lot of good things tonight. 14 total yards for the Indians offense. It's as dominating a football team as I've ever seen. And I think that's going to continue certainly until we get to Halloween weekend against DeSoto.
And I guess for Waxahachie, 14 total yards, and they've put up some good numbers so far this season. Anything in your mind where like you said, they already kind of dug into their bag of tricks, but anything else that the Indians offense can try to expose any weaknesses from that Duncanville defense?
Well, their quarterback, Ramon McKinney Jr. is an absolute burner, a speed threat, right? He's not, doesn't have the strongest arm, so throwing the football down the field is not going to be the answer. They tried that. Tyron Pauly made an incredible interception here on the near side. But other than getting McKinney to the edge with blockers out in front, which they've done a couple times tonight, but outside of that, they just haven't had any real way to move the chains consistently. So certainly hoping for a more competitive second half, but guys, like I said, this Duncanville team is the real deal, and they're creating quite a highlight tape en route to the playoffs.
All right, well, Mitch Mason, again, thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your break there at the half, and enjoy that second half. Oh, wow, 30-0, and now we were talking about it. We thought maybe Waxahachie, they put up some pretty good numbers offensively, almost 30 points a game, but 14 total yards of offense in that first half.
Yeah, he mentioned Ramon McKinney. Almost 500 yards passing, 500 yards rushing on the year, right? They're kind of a dual threat. He's a dual threat guy, and they're a rushing team, but they just, as you see, they're a rushing team, but they can't do anything much against that front. The one thing I do think is impressive about Duncanville is you look at Keelan Russell, Caden Durham, DeCorian Moore, their numbers aren't great on offense because they don't have to play the whole game, right? So, you look at Caden Durham, who's an insane talent, who's we're going to be seeing for many, many years, 300 yards on the season. Right, that's all he needs, just because that's what's going to happen. DeCorian Moore, look right here, as you're seeing the new LSU commit. He only has about 500 yards receiving, which is insane for a Duncanville receiver, right? Duncanville does not traditionally throw the ball until now with Keelan Russell, but this is actually kind of astronomical if you consider, put it on the Duncanville curve, I guess you can say. But they're a running team. They're traditionally a running team, but they don't really have to flex their muscles that much. Keelan Russell hasn't crossed 1,000 yards passing yet. He barely has 700, and he has 9 touchdowns, no picks, because they're controlling the game, and they don't need to really, again, until that DeSoto game and then until in the playoffs, they really haven't had to stretch themselves, and I thought it would be tonight with Waxahachie, but so far, no.
Well, yeah, and what Mitch said, there's not a whole lot of weaknesses. All right, well, we got some highlights rolling in. Flower Mound taking on Plano East. How about a bomb right there, in and out of the hands? Oh no, sorry, we got a live game. Sorry, I was getting a little too excited for trying to get into what'd you call it, the kind of pinball segment going back and forth. No, we got a live look. A&M Consolidated versus Hendrickson, and that was looked like a pretty good pass, right?
Almost, almost caught in the corner of the end zone there. Looks like it's, I think that's Consolidated looking to take a very commanding lead potentially here.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, just down at the about the 2-yard line.
Yeah, so again, we're going to keep with this as, trying to keep up with the scores. We've done a pretty good job, the last handful of weeks, especially last week. Especially last week. Every time we were tuning into a different game, there was a score back-to-back.
Yep.
So, yeah, A&M Consolidated trying to punch it in. We've got Barbers Hill and Baytown Lee. It's a pretty good game right now, 21-14 in favor of Barbers Hill. But again, A&M Consolidated looking to go up perhaps 4 scores there in the second quarter. A little bit surprising.
Just what I was talking about this week being a lot of interesting matchups. We get potentially 3 blowouts in the first half so far, as it looks like they did punch it in. Consolidated. Looks like it's going to be 27, potentially 28 nothing now. I mean, look, they're looking for back-to-back road wins potentially this week. I believe their head coach was talking to, I believe their local paper down there, the Bryan College Station Eagle. He mentioned how they're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel offensively. This is a team that's really, really struggled to put up points. Last week, they kind of got a little bit of a kickstart, but it's still a little bit of a work in progress. Brandon Schmidt was, I believe that, or no, there's a news station. Sorry, it wasn't the newspaper. It was the news station down there. Mentioning seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, which I'd say this definitely helps.
I would say so. 28-0 in the second quarter for A&M Consolidated. Now we got some highlights to throw at you. Flower Mound versus Plano East. I wasn't just randomly pulling stuff out. We got some highlights for you here in the first quarter. This is going to be a deep bomb as Plano East able to connect. Look at that. Inside of the 30-yard line all the way to the 25. That sets up a couple of great opportunities for Plano East in Flower Mound territory. Good snap, good hold. Is the kick good? It is. So right there, you make it 3-0 Plano East, and then Flower Mound looking to respond. A little pitch out to the outside, and able to find it, and that makes it 7-3 Flower Mound in the second quarter. Back into the second quarter, this is going to be a toss over for Joshua Palma, and he finds the end zone. And at the last moment, it's a 10-10 game.
Taking it over to Campbell and Flower Mound Marcus. We're going to start with Campbell here. Edward Griffin's going to escape pressure here. As you see, flushed out to the right. He's going to go down for a first down run, and this is, it was a massive play right there. That's going to set up, they're going to still trail at the end of that drive, 3-0. But they're going to have a chance here, but unfortunately, he's going to drop the ball in the end zone, and Flower Mound Marcus is going to recover in what I like to call the worst rule in football, which means a touchback for the other team, and they get the ball. But Campbell's going to respond back. It's going to be Griffin again in the back of the end zone. 30 yards to the end zone, and that's going to put them up 6-0, their first score, and they're going to come right back. It's going to be Griffin again, slings it right over the middle, a slant to Arian Sneed. Campbell now taking a commanding 13-3 lead.
All right, and then we've got another live look here. It's 21-0, and yeah, you were talking about getting some good matchups back and forth, and we're seeing a couple of lopsided scores.
We just saw a score there. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think that is, was that Tom? Yeah, okay, that's Tom Memorial that got on the board there, making sure I couldn't quite see the helmet there. But that's a massive score because as we're kind of seeing, it's kind of a first half blowouts a little bit in this first half. So that's a massive. Look at that!
Impressive. Nice. Go up and grab that.
Yeah, get the feet down too as well. No, this Tomball Memorial squad's been really, really impressive so far this year. As you see, 5-0, looking to really stop the three-peat from Klein Collins. 53 points a game, I mentioned, right? They're not used to be in this scenario, which almost go into the half with no points. Obviously, they get on the board there. But guys like Aiden Martin at quarterback, 1,200 yards passing this year. As you see, they're a very balanced attack. It's been a very, very interesting season for them so far, and they can really. It's only a 2-score game, right? It's only a 2-score game. If they can get a stop, they're able to get right back in this.
Yeah, that was Lance Martinez, by the way, the wide receiver, who was able to go up and make that grab. So impressive, and Tomball gets on the board. Yep. All right, so again, we're hoping that a couple of these kind of scores get a little bit closer as the night progresses. But again, one of the best parts about Texas high school football is you get to be on the road quite a bit and see everything that the great Lone Star State has to offer, and they bring it to you now on the latest edition of the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Travel Vlog.
What's up, y'all? It's week 6 of the Texas high school football season. Lots of bye weeks this week, but that's not going to stop the the vlog taking place. I'm staying close to home for this first game on Thursday night. I'm in the Funk, Fort Worth, my hometown. Going to check out a little bit of Fort Worth ISD ball tonight between the Western Hills Cougars and the Dunbar Wildcats. Should be a good time. Looking forward to it. About to grab a little pregame meal at a well-known Fort Worth barbecue spot, so we'll check that out and get the day started. Let's get week 6 kicked off the right way. Here in the Magnolia district of Fort Worth, I see a pit room. I see wood right there. I think I'm about to see some barbecue. Bam, there it barbecue in Fort Worth. One of my favorites. Let's go. Doesn't get much better than this, y'all. Brisket, sausage, mac and cheese, pinto beans, a little Heim barbecue. Got to support a local business. Here at historic Farrington Field in Fort Worth. One of the most historic stadiums in all of Texas high school football. This place is large, seats about 18,000, just in the shadows of downtown Fort Worth. What's up, y'all? It's Friday night, week 6, and I'm headed to a town and a stadium I've never been to before. Graham. That's right. I've seen Graham play a ton. Seen him play in 7-on-7, seen him play in real football, but I've never been to Graham for an actual football game. So, never even been in a town. So I'm headed out to Graham. It's about a 2-hour trip west of Fort Worth. I'm in Mineral Wells currently, so about 45 minutes away. Gonna grab a bite to eat pregame and head to the stadium. So let's have a great Friday night and do it big on the video blog. Made it to Graham. A little pregame meal at a local spot, Dairy King. Looks very mom and poppy. Let's see how good it is. All set up here at beautiful Newton Field in Graham, Texas. Beautiful 4A Division II facility with a Jumbotron down there. Look at that. Very nice facility here in Graham, Texas, as we're getting ready for Graham and Wichita Falls High. Should be a good one. The homecoming crowd in Graham. Gonna get to celebrate tonight as the Steers get a big 54-13 win over Wichita Falls High. Most of the crowd is already either headed out of the stadium or they're down here on the track waiting to greet the team. Big win for the state-ranked Graham Steers here on Friday night, week 6. Saturday morning, y'all. On the road, headed to Bryan for a Saturday afternoon neutral site game between the Hitchcock Bulldogs, right? Yeah, Hitchcock Bulldogs and the Salado Eagles, 3A versus 4A. And on the way down to Bryan, I'm here in West, which we all know West has great kolaches, and I'm here at Garrick's. To me, the best kolaches in West. This is where the locals go. Shout out Coach Woodard for turning me on to this place. This is where all the locals in West go. So, awesome kolaches right here. Let's go.
Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Texas Army National Guard are honored to present the Coach of the Week Award, celebrating one head coach in 7 different classifications. That's 6A all the way down to 6-man, and of course, private school every single week. Think your head coach deserves some recognition? Nominate them under our weekly Twitter and Facebook post. Those will come out Friday at 10:30 p.m., Saturday 8:30 p.m., and Sunday at 6:30 p.m. That's facebook.com/Dave Campbell's or at DCTF on Twitter. Thank you to Texas Army National Guard for helping spotlight the hard work and dedication of high school head coaches across Texas.
Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Ozarka will announce 7 Team of the Week winners for 14 weeks of the Texas high school football season from Class 6A down to 6-man and including private schools. Head to texasfootball.com, go to the awards tab, and find Ozarka Team of the Week to see this season's winners and vote for your program to be named. Winners are announced every Wednesday on Twitter and Facebook.
Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Panini America are teaming up this season to honor the best high school quarterbacks across the state of Texas. 7 quarterbacks, 1 in each classification, 1A through 6A and private schools, will be named Quarterback of the Week and will receive a virtual Panini America trading card to commemorate their performance. Check out which outstanding quarterback was selected each Tuesday morning on the Dave Campbell's Twitter and Facebook pages.
Welcome back to Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight as we take a look at some of the scores of the top teams in 1A District 2, or Division 2, sorry, as we take a look at a few of those and a couple of shutouts. And how about Oglesby? They were involved in a close matchup last week, and well, they've run away with it, safe to say, tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look at that. Also, that top 10 matchup there, Richland Springs and Cherokee going at it.
Yeah, so we see a few of those. Of course, this is something that we're going to be doing just to give you a better idea of the playoff picture all throughout the state of Texas. As we take you in now, we got Plano taking on Hebron. And how about Patrick Creighton Jr., the quarterback option? It breaks a couple of tackles, able to find the end zone. Hebron up 7-0 as Plano looking to respond. And why not just run it up the middle? That's Jack Tomlinson taking the snap and the shotgun. He's able to get in for 6. It's a 7-6 score. It's going to be Creighton Jr. again with the quarterback power just rumbling his way through, able to maneuver into the end zone for the touchdown as Hebron responds with the touchdown. Back and forth this game goes. Michael Lee this time is going to be in motion. He'll pick things up on the little pitch, and he's got a convoy of blockers. He's able to bully his way into the end zone. They are able to tie the game on the 2-point conversion.
New Caney and Conroe now. Let's start in the first quarter here. We're going to start with some defensive highlights. Look, quarterback steps up. He's going to get hit, loses the football. New Caney's going to pick it up. Recovered there, 0-0 early in this one. That's why we got some defensive highlights, means it's a defensive show. New Caney's Hunter Taylor is going to drop back now and find Caden Cooper down the right sideline, all the way down. New Caney up 7-0 early. Later in the first quarter, as you see him celebrating there. Conroe is going to respond, though. They're going to need it, and they're going to respond. As you see here in the shotgun, drops back, throws over the middle, finds his man, makes a move all the way to the end zone to tie this one at 7 in the first. Big response there from Conroe, but we're going to finish it off with a New Caney highlight. This is going to be Hunter Taylor again. He's going to roll left, find Eric Sanchez, who makes an adjustment. Probably some DPI there. Didn't really matter. He's going to miss the extra point, though. 13-10, New Caney.
All right, Santa Fe and Nederland. We got a nice run up the middle as a strong drive for Nederland, and they are able to cap it off with a quarterback sneak right up the middle, makes it 7-0. And Nederland will continue as they pitch it out. This is Hubert Thomas III for 13 yards, dancing into the end zone. Got knocked out of bounds, but was able to get the ball over the pylon. So 14-0 the score as Santa Fe trying to respond. This is going to be Joseph Floyd running up the middle, 21 yards, just dragging defenders. He's able to get through. That was like 5 or 6 guys that were on him. He's able to drag him into the end zone with him. Makes it 14-7 Santa Fe. And this is going to be an opportunity. Nederland trying to get back their 2-score lead. Hubert Thomas again. How about this? He's going to break off for 40 yards. Oh, breaking some ankles too. Juke move into the end zone as Nederland goes up 21-7. All this, by the way, in the second quarter. You had that 7-0 lead in the first, and all this scoring has come in the second. And it's going to be some more, some very fun running as this is up the middle, and Joseph Floyd runs it in 21 yards. It's 21-14 on this next play as Santa Fe able to respond. Is again Floyd able to run up the middle, breaks a couple of tackles. We're seeing some physical running so far tonight, and running back stealing the show early on here on Texas Football Tonight. And so, we've got a couple of great highlights going right now, but I believe we have Johnny Bays now will be joining us, who was on the call at A&M Consolidated. That's been a fun game so far. And, again, thank you so much for joining us. Just kind of take us through that first half so far.
Well, it's been all A&M Consolidated, guys. I mean, they have been taking advantage of great field position, some special teams problems for the Hendrickson Hawks. And so far, it's a 28-0 score. 3 touchdown passes total for College Station, 2 by Poling, 1 by Hargett, and Vines with the other touchdown. And Hendrickson just can't get anything going offensively. The only drive they had was up to the 15-yard line, but penalties and sacks, they ended up punting the ball. So nothing but 5 punts and a turnover for Hendrickson. But A&M Consolidated is rolling.
Yeah, what have you seen from this offense from A&M Consolidated that's kind of been struggling a little bit? Their coach mentioned they're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel a little bit. But what have you seen from them in this one that's gotten them off to a hot start?
Well, I mean, it's just been their vertical passing game. Myers, Roberts, and company have just been getting behind the defensive backs and just getting some big plays, some big chunk plays offensively. I mean, on the first score drive was 3rd and 15, and it was a 44-yard touchdown pass to Roberts. And from then on, A&M Consolidated hasn't slowed down, and they're mixing it up very well. But it's mostly been the vertical passing game that's hurt Hendrickson. Hendrickson has put in pressure. They've had some sacks, but not enough. As again, it's all been about field position, and this offense is just taking advantage of it.
Sure. How big of a game is this coming off of, for A&M Consolidated, their goal was not to lose too much ground in the district standings. They lost to Georgetown earlier in the year. They have a big game against College Station, obviously. How big was it for them to come into this one and kind of, another team that was trying to be in the conversation in Hendrickson, trying to, really putting their foot down on this?
Well, I mean, you look at what Coach Brandon Schmidt coming into college to A&M Consolidated from Prosper, taking them to the state semifinals, and he wants the same thing here for A&M Consolidated. But I think it's a huge game because this they're right in the middle of the pack. I know it's early, but it's in the middle of the pack. They're both 1-1 in district play, chasing College Station and Georgetown. And Hendrickson still has to play College Station. A&M Consolidated still has to play them. So I think this win is a big win for either one of these teams to just kind of move up in the standings and just keep up with Georgetown and College Station.
All right, Johnny Besa, again, thank you so much for joining us. Don't want to take up too much of your halftime break. Enjoy the second half. And again, thank you so much for joining us here on Texas Football Tonight. All right, so again, a pretty good start for A&M Consolidated. Like you said, seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, offense starting to pick things up. And we'll take a look at some district standings. And again, Duncanville, they were making pretty easy work of Waxahachie when we checked in with Mitch Mason, but I mean this is a gauntlet.
Yeah, I mean there's a reason why this is called. Usually whatever district DeSoto and Duncanville is christened the District of Doom. This year you can throw Mansfield in there, which is we saw the score with Cedar Hill kind of really taking control of this one. Waxahachie, as you're saying, I mean 4 teams. 4-1 or 4-0 right now, 5-0 obviously with Mansfield, really struggling with Cedar Hill. But you're seeing 4 teams that are just in a slugfest basically, and everybody has that DeSoto Duncanville game Halloween weekend penciled in right now as the one that could decide the district. As you see now, we're jumping into one of the other Dallas districts this year, and I mean honestly, this is a really potentially really big drive for Campbell because SOC, I mentioned it, runs through DISD, right? That's why their non-conference or non-district, is so difficult with Duncanville, with DeSoto, with Lancaster, because they know they're not going to be tested, or they feel they're not going to be tested in their district. If Campbell can score here and make this potentially tie or take the lead, that is massive. It's a situation that SOC is not usually in, which is having to play a district game where there's okay, we gotta come out. Yeah. So,
and we'll take you live on the call. Is Campbell threatening here in the second quarter?
Now 2 tight ends out there for the Knights. They'll give this one up the middle to Samaj Green, and Green will only garner a yard there on 2nd and goal. So 3rd and goal. This has been where the Kimmel offense has struggled inside the 10. Sox defense done a great job of shutting them down at this point. They already had a turnover on downs earlier in this half. On 4th and goal from the 4. Here's 3rd and goal from the 3, under 5 minutes to go. Green lined up behind Williams Hall. Bad snap. Williams Hall has to improvise, trying to get to the outside, and he's able to stumble his way back to the line of scrimmage before being brought down by number 10, Carlos Bird. So 4th and goal from the 3 this time. The Knights will elect to go for the field goal. Osvaldo Gomez trots out to take this one from 21 yards out on the right hash. And it's blocked. No, it's not. Sorry, it went through. Heard a thump from here as if South Oak Cliff was able to block it. My apologies. It goes through, and Campbell cuts the deficit in half.
All right, so not able to get the touchdown, but they bring it in to within 3 points. So that's a win for Dallas Campbell to bring it to within 3.
Again, they're putting South Oak Cliff in unfamiliar territory, right? A game where they can't pull the guys at halftime, right? Legitimately. And so I was trying to look up literally just now the last time they were in a competitive game in district. I was able to find in 2020 was the last time they lost a game before November once district started, but they played Cedar Hill Trinity Christian. So it was a non-district game that was in the middle of their district schedule. That was the one they lost. So it's a long time since they've been pushed like this. So that's why I had this game circled. I believe people rightfully probably still had, as we see now, Juan Aguilar. I do want to mention this. So he's been playing fantastic for Campbell, right? There's a graphic here that I want to show. Hopefully I think they do have it queued up. Yeah. He put out a tweet earlier this week of all the quarterbacks that he is picked off. He has 11 interceptions this year. He calls it look at that, quarterback trapping. Literally putting everybody on the bulletin board of, basically your shot here, right? He's called his number. We'll see if Carter Kopecky from South Oak Cliff joins those guys. But as we're seeing here, here's the highlights from Juan Aguilar, having a great season, just absolute menace right now. And if he can back it up with another pick against, probably the best quarterback he'll see all year, look, man, he has another one to add to the board. And right now, quarterback trapping, that looks to be his game right now. And look at that. They're playing him single high, right? They're leaving him out kind of on an island. And as you're seeing, he's able to make plays like that. He has closing speed, and he's able to. Look right here. He has an insane motor downhill, and he's able just to make plays everywhere. So credit to him. He's calling his number, right? I love that. As you see, look at that jump pass. Yep. Oh my God, trick play did not. Yeah, I was about to say didn't get to him at all. So. He's calling his shot. I love that. I love that swagger. So if he can add Carter Kopecky from South Oak Cliff to that list, we'll see. Yeah. We'll see.
I like that. Quarterback trapping.
Yeah.
All right, we're going back. Katy Jordan, Katy Cinco Ranch. Jordan up 27-14 into the third, and they got a big run almost to midfield.
How about Cinco Ranch just striking right back, right? Katy Jordan jumped out to a big lead. Looks like Cinco Ranch was able to close the gap a little bit there. Waking up a little bit. They're 4-2 in this, or excuse me, they're 3-1 in this district, 4-2 overall. Like they mentioned, David Rope was playing for JV earlier this year, sophomore, kind of stepping up to the next level, or excuse me, the varsity level, I should say.
Yeah, so how about good for Cinco Ranch to come back. They got a couple of scores after Jordan was up to a pretty big, pretty sizable lead to start things out, and we'll see if Cinco Ranch can continue to get a couple of positive plays going. That was a big hit. Yeah, I tell you, we've seen a couple of really nice plays by the running back so far tonight, and that time was the first big hit we've seen.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we'll see a big. Try to have a physical drive here from Katy Jordan. Cinco Ranch gets on the board a little bit, and they're just going to try to get back into this very methodically.
That maybe Gasper doesn't return for Jordan tonight, but he'll be back next week when they take on Seven Lakes.
So let Energy Addict show you how much you can love the comfort
now
of your
it's Tanner
home.
West, who's been bottled up and not featured as much this week.
We're ready for second half action in Lupton Stadium in Waxahachie, where it is 30-0. Number one ranked team in the state of Texas, the Duncanville Panthers, all over Waxahachie.
So again, Jordan, like you said, trying to just have a big physical drive and try and wear down Cinco Ranch here in the third quarters. They're slowly but surely marching into Cinco Ranch territory.
Yeah, I like the strategy here. You don't want to press a little too much, right? Just because you see a team kind of closing the gap, you don't want to go for big shots. They're able to move the ball, right? They had 27 points, 20 plus at the half, and they just want to go real slow here, kind of get things back under control, and make Cinco Ranch play some defense here.
Yeah, that one
I mentioned Colin Willits. I was going to say, quarterback for Katy Jordan, really having a bounce-back game for himself after 2 picks last week.
Yeah, so it's a strong drive for Katy Jordan. Let's take a look. We've got Lou Roach joining us now. He's on the call for Baytown Lee and Barbers Hill. Looks like that was, last I saw, a 21-14 lead for Barbers Hill. But Lou, again, thank you so much for joining us and just kind of take us through that opening half.
Hey, so that opening half, we watched as Barbers Hill took the opening kick, and they marched 75 yards in a quick drive. It took just 3 minutes for them to go 75 yards, a 31-yard touchdown pass to Cooper Lucas, and Fuentes and Barbers Hill haven't looked back since. They led 14-0 at one point. Duncan for Baytown Lee was able to pull back a touchdown on a 2-yard touchdown run by Josiah Davis, or Josiah Joseph, I should say. And then Joseph caught a 33-yard ball that ended up in a touchdown, and that's why we're at the half at 21-14. Fuentes in the opening half, 174 yards through the air for a touchdown, another one on the ground. And then Duncan, 10 of 15 for 146 and a touchdown, and 66 more on the ground. So we're watching two quarterbacks that can beat you with their arms, do their thing here.
Yeah, Cody Fuentes is somebody that I've been really interested in this season. 73% completion, I believe, tonight. You mentioned his half numbers. I believe he's over 1,500 yards now in the season. What have you seen from him? The thing that I've loved about looking up his numbers and seeing what I've seen from Barbers Hill is he seems to kind of spread it around a lot. So what have you seen from him so far today?
He does do that, but he is very calm, cool, and collected in the pocket. He doesn't get flustered. Although near the end of the half, I'll have to say that Baytown Lee, they picked up their defense. They sacked him 3 times, twice in the last possession by Barbers Hill, that forced them to go to halftime at 21-14. But Fuentes, calm, cool, and collect, and he just received an offer. I don't know if he accepted yet, to West Point as well.
Wow. Okay. Talented kid. Yeah. So
yeah.
With Baytown Lee, this is a game that was, I believe it was 43-14 last year, lost to Barbers Hill. What have you seen from them to kind of keep this close? Is this just a different Baytown Lee team from last year, a year older? What exactly have you kind of seen you mentioned the defense a little bit as well.
Yeah, Ishmael, one of the things we saw is that they started slow, but they didn't get flustered. Duncan started off missing his first 3 passes, then completes his next 8 in a row. That really put Baytown Lee on his back. And as you said, they're kind of maturing as expected. And if they can win this game tonight, this district 8-5A is going to be quite the battle, because LaPorte is 4-0. Barbers Hill would then fall to 5-2, and Baytown Lee would be 4-2. So this is a Ganders team, I think, that teams are going to have to reckon with.
All right, Lou Roach, thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy that second half. Should be a fun second half of that game down there. Barbers Hill and Baytown Lee. Well, Ish, we were just talking about a little bit ago. I mean, hey, a really good safety can, be a huge difference maker for a defense. And I think in this week's edition, we've got the Cruton corner back, and I think we're going to take a look at some of the best safeties in the state of Texas.
Welcome into this week's Cruton Corner on Texas Football Tonight, and I'm excited to talk about some of the top safeties in the Lone Star State. And we're going to start at the top right here with Xavier Filsamy at McKinney High School. He's made his commitment to the Florida Gators, and what I really love about Filsamy's game is that he is a hard-hitting safety. He's not just a guy who can cover and line up in versatile roles. He's a guy who loves to come downhill and blow up the run. Very talented against the rush, but versatile enough that he could probably play some nickel coverage and guard some very talented slot wide receivers. McKinney's playing at a very high level this year. They're a state championship contender, and the big reason why is their defense, and that defense is certainly led by Filsamy, who's the #1 safety in the Lone Star State. I'm going to go down the list here a little bit. At number 2 is Aaron Flowers from Forney. He's made his commitment to Oregon. Number 3, Jaden Hardy. Jaden Hardy at Louisville, I feel like on this list is probably the most versatile safety here. He's a guy who can play corner. He can be a true safety, but I love his talent as a nickelback. I think that he gets on the field very early in Norman because of that versatility, and I think that you'll see him get his first opportunity at nickel. He racked up over 20 scholarship offers, and what Louisville loves to do with him is they'll sneak him over on the offensive side of the ball at wide receiver or running back, and give him some very important touches on that side of the ball as well. So you're talking about a very versatile athlete who is a star defender. Number 4, you have Miles Davis. He's the first player on the list committed to an in-state school. He's committed to Texas A&M. He's at Converse Judson. Very tall and rangy safety. Kadavian Dotson is a steal for SMU. He's from Duncanville, the reigning and defending 6A Division I state champions. That was a huge pickup for SMU. And you know, every week I love to give my sleeper pick. And my sleeper pick on the list this week is committed to Texas Tech, and that's number 9, Peyton Morgan at Pflugerville-Weiss. Pflugerville-Weiss is one of these teams in the state that's on an upward trajectory, and it's players like Peyton Morgan that makes it so. 6'1", 175-pound safety. He's tremendous in coverage, has great range, can really cover the entire field, but he's not afraid to stick his nose in and, you know, defend the run as well. And you love to see these safeties who come downhill and play like linebackers. Peyton Morgan is a guy who can do it all, and Joey McGuire and the Red Raiders got a steal in this stud from Pflugerville-Weiss. Keep it locked right here every week on Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight. Happy to be here. Back to y'all at the desk.
Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Texas Army National Guard are honored to present the Coach of the Week Award, celebrating one head coach in 7 different classifications. That's 6A all the way down to 6-man, and of course, private school every single week. Think your head coach deserves some recognition? Nominate them under our weekly Twitter and Facebook post. Those will come out Friday at 10:30 p.m., Saturday 8:30 p.m., and Sunday at 6:30 p.m. That's facebook.com/Dave Campbell's or at DCTF on Twitter. Thank you to Texas Army National Guard for helping spotlight the hard work and dedication of high school head coaches across Texas.
Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Ozarka will announce 7 Team of the Week winners for 14 weeks of the Texas high school football season from Class 6A down to 6-man and including private schools. Head to texasfootball.com, go to the awards tab, and find Ozarka Team of the Week to see this season's winners and vote for your program to be named. Winners are announced every Wednesday on Twitter and Facebook.
Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Panini America are teaming up this season to honor the best high school quarterbacks across the state of Texas. 7 quarterbacks, 1 in each classification, 1A through 6A and private schools, will be named Quarterback of the Week and will receive a virtual Panini America trading card to commemorate their performance. Check out which outstanding quarterback was selected each Tuesday morning on the Dave Campbell's Twitter and Facebook pages.
Welcome back to Texas Football Tonight as we take you through some of the scores 1A Division I. We got some fun matchups, some lopsided matchups. Gordon and Gorman, that's a 8-0 defensive struggle. And how about that? We got Spring Lake Earth and Whiteface, a 14-14 tie. Those are about the only 2 close games. So again, we're doing this now just to give you people at home a better idea of maybe the playoff standings, district standings, as we get into that part of the season. All right, well, we've got some exciting games in action, some that are at the break, including Tomball Memorial and Klein Collins. We have James Kolowaski and Andre Mathis joining us now. Guys, thank you so much for joining us, and just kind of take us through very quickly first half thoughts.
Yeah, Klein Collins jumped out to a 21-0 lead powered by the strength of their running game. Michael Wilson going to Central Arkansas, along with Tucker Parks going to Western Kentucky, the quarterback, really did an exceptional job. The pivotal play of the ball game, Andre, was whenever on a 4th and short inside their own 25 late in the first half, Klein Collins kind of surprisingly went for it with a quarterback sneak to Tucker Parks. They get stuffed. All of a sudden, Tomball Memorial has the ball at the Klein Collins 25-yard line. They score on the ensuing kickoff. Klein Collins fumbles it. Tomball Memorial scores again. Yeah. So it was a game that was 21-0, looking like it was about to go into the half, and all of a sudden it's 21-14 at half.
Yeah, it's a completely different ball game now. Now Tomball Memorial, now they're back in the game 14-21. they also come back on the second half, getting the ball on offense. So it's a very interesting game. The second half should be super interesting. Momentum is completely shifted. It'd be really fun to watch.
This is a Tomball Memorial team that's put up tons of points. They blasted Klein Kane, I believe. They scored 79 on them. What, heading into this game, what could this win, if they come back and end up winning this game, what could this win do for this program? Because Klein Collins has kind of been the bully on the block a little bit for this district.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that, how Ishmael, Klein Collins has kind of been the flag bearer for the district. One thing that I want the viewers to know, Ashton Ansley, the junior star wide receiver for the Wildcats, he's out. Okay, so that may have been a big factor, but I would say even more so than that, it's just the physicality of the Klein Collins defense. But you're absolutely right. It's a big home crowd here tonight at Tomball ISD Stadium. I think that they were looking to kind of break through and announce that they are here in 15-6A. Collins trying to thwart them, but we got a ball game now.
Yeah, we got a really good ball game coming up. Like I said, it's interesting to see if they do come away to win tonight, and then they get their star receiver back next week for the rest of the year, they'll have a lot of momentum moving forward. Very confident team moving forward too.
Lastly, for me, what did Klein Collins do well to start the game, and what do you think especially if Memorial comes out, scores, maybe ties the game in the second half, what can they kind of do to kind of get back and kind of regain control of this?
It's definitely, to me, the running game has been owned by Klein Collins. They've been much more successful running the football, not so much inside, but they've gotten to the edge quite a bit. So I think, to answer your question, if Klein Collins is to get momentum back on their side, it's going to be running the football.
Yeah, absolutely. They've been killing. They've been really big, dominant up front on both sides of the ball. So if they can come back out, and they'll have to stay to their game and keep running the ball over and over again, and keep hitting them in the mouth.
All right, James Kolowaski and Andre Mathis, thank you so much for joining us, and it sounds like that's going to be a very exciting second half. Enjoy. All right, so again, yeah, that's pretty interesting seeing that quick start and then Tomball able to come back.
Yeah, I mean, Tucker Parks you're seeing right there is, I believe, a Western Kentucky commit, 3-star, according to our guy Greg Powers there. He's going to be a big reason, if they come back in this game, I know they mentioned the running game, but he's part of that running game as well. He's going to be a big reason why, if Klein Collins can not only win this, but then go on to win their third consecutive district title.
Yeah, so that should be a lot of fun to see that second half, and I think we've got some more scoring from one of our other spotlight games. Jordan and Cinco Ranch. Oh,
a little bit of a wide receiver screen there down the field. Beautifully. Beautiful right there. I mean, Katie Jordan now, going back up big. Looks like 33, potentially 14 now over Cinco Ranch, which, again, you're probably looking at, honestly, probably the most perfect bounce back game for them. Of course, we mentioned Willits right there. Looks like he's back to his wheeling and dealing ways, going up and really, really taking control of this one late. Fourth quarter now is they're looking to put this one on ice, potentially doing it there now. I mean, 3-score game, fourth quarter, we'll see. It's kind of a must-score drive here for Cinco Ranch.
Yeah, that would give Katie Jordan perhaps a 3-1 record in district play. So that's a fun district, but yeah, good bounce back for Jordan so far today.
All right, we're going to jump back into some highlights here. Crosby and Porter, let's go. Senior Marion Lewis, is going to take it around the edge, and he's going to put Porter up on an 8-yard run to the corner of the end zone, 7-3, just as Crosby was up to a 3-0 lead early. This one's going to be Cade Udy right here, dropping back for Crosby, and he's going to find Landon Hammer for 25 yards. That's unfortunately, that's not going to be result in a score. Actually, no, it will result in a score right here. Cade Udy again, this is going to be a 7-yard pass as he's going to elude pressure, give the dump off to Wesley Yarborough, and Crosby's going to be up right now on Porter 10-7. Great finish to that drive there, and this one's a close one.
All right, we got Cy Fair and Cy Creek. Is Cy Creek in position for a short field goal, and they're able to get on the board first as they make it 3-0. So Cy Creek, field goal, able to start the scoring, but then Cy Fair would take it. How about a little bit of trickery from their own 29? It's a fake handoff. It's a flea flicker. Trey Owens letting it fly, connecting with Wyatt Herbal wide open, and that makes it a 7-3 Cy Fair lead with the trick play going into the second quarter. 16-3 Cy Fair over the middle. That's an open pocket for Trey Owens. He's able to connect as Landon Rink is wide open. 23-3 at this point, and I'll tell you what, Cy Fair does not stop scoring as we get later into the second quarter on the 50-yard line. Owens in the shotgun, able to fire it down low, And that's 30 unanswered for Cy-Fair, 33-3.
We're having fun. Let's keep having fun. Tomball and Waller. We're going to see Brooks Junod take the tunnel screen right through the defense. He's going to find an alley 51 yards to the house. Tomball up early. We're going to keep it with Tomball. This is going to be Kobe Fosher. He's going to take the handoff, find the lane right up the middle. Look at that, reading his blocks. Pushes a lineman, go find a man to block. He's going to sneak it in the end zone. 15-0 now, Tomball. Stay in the first quarter. Waller's going to try to get something going. This is going to be Jordan Duncan. Look at this protection here. He's going to have all day to throw. Finds a man, finally, over the middle. Finds his man, gets inside the red zone, close to the red zone. And then let's see if they can finish it off here. This is going to be Jordan Duncan again. He's going to find Austin Bice. Over the middle, right there, make it 15-8. Austin Bice does. Tomball still leads. And unfortunately for Waller, Tomball again, second quarter. This is going to be Brooks Junod again, right over the middle. Perfect throw, perfect run, 29-8 Tomball right now.
We'll come back into this, Jordan and Cinco Ranch. Is that Cinco Ranch looking to respond quickly?
I said, and that's not how you respond.
Not.
I mean, look, I was going to say this is a must-score drive,
yeah.
But unfortunately, it looks like it's going to be
the
Katie Jordan here. This one. You got to keep going, man. I think he thought he was the only one. You got to keep going. I would have also tried to poke the ball loose, see if he could have gotten one of the touchbacks, but still a great pick there. And Katie Jordan looking to ice this one really, really well late.
He is literally laying down in the end zone.
He is gassed.
But he made it all the way back. Virtually.
First interception for the junior. And a devastating turnover for the Cinco Ranch Cougars. The second interception thrown by the sophomore Davis Roop tonight. And tonight's game is sponsored by Body Armor. Body Armor, more than a sports drink. Michael Silvers, Brent Hallmark with you. Our producer back up in Humble, Jesse Wolf. The associate producer is Mallory Hartley. The executive producer of Dave Campbell's Texan Live is Ashley Pickle. Tonight's game is a production of Dave Campbell's Texan Live and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or any other use of this broadcast without the express written consent of Dave Campbell's Texan Live is strictly prohibited. Statistics provided tonight by the Athletics Department, a full-service provider for high school and college stats. Visit them on the web at theathleticsdepartment.com and look them up on all social media platforms. First and goal after the almost pick six by Rocky Allo Perry. Handoff down to the one.
Number 15,
That was Monier with the
And he had to fight to get all the way to the 1 yard line. The Cougars are going to try to do everything they can to prevent this score. It's not because we've still got plenty of time in this ball game, but if the Warriors score, it's going to be very hard to come back from that.
Yeah, you can almost say it'd be curtains on the Cougars tonight. Monier. No signal yet. Looks like he came across, and he did. Touchdown, Jordan.
Touchdown, Jordan. Number 15, Afani Manye. With the touchdown run.
And Manye just really had to fight to get everything he could. In fact, probably a little bit of help with the offensive line.
So Katie Jordan able to take advantage of the near pick six, and they punch it in just a few plays later.
Yeah, this district now, I believe Katie's the only unbeaten team in districts. I believe they're still 4-0. So yeah, this one, I mean, Katie Jordan's looking to really separate itself as that number 2 team, of course, after the close game last week. They still have some interesting games coming up, but I mean, from the looks of this one, it looks to be Katie and Katie Jordan and kind of everybody else.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you look there and yeah, maybe you pencil those two, Katie Jordan and Katie, pencil those in 1 and 2, and then be up for grabs for those last 2 spots.
Yeah, that's the other thing. potentially, and Katie Tompkins for that for those other spots. Potentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams still in for 2 spots, right? So this is 19 6A is going to be one to pay attention to if you just love to scan the state. It's one that we'll obviously have on here at Texan Live. If you want to subscribe, TexanLive.com. We'll absolutely be able to. You'll be able to see how this one plays out basically in entirety as the season winds down.
All right, so now we're going to be joined by one of our own. We've got, believe, Matt Stepp out at Woodrow Wilson and Stephenville. I believe, yeah. So
Never heard of him. I don't know who that is.
Oh, I don't know. All right, so we've got Matt Stepp with us. All right, sorry, we're trying to get through a couple of technical. All right, we got him now. We got Matt Stepp. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. Just kind of take us through the first half.
Yeah, what's up, guys? Yeah, this is a huge game in District 6-5A Division II. We've got this is the north zone, so this district is divided into 2 zones. South Oak Cliff is in the south zone. They're obviously the team to beat in the south zone. And in the north zone here, Woodrow Wilson and Seagoville are kind of playing for that zone leadership right to go play South Oak Cliff probably later in the season. And right now, Seagoville is pulling the upset. They lead 13-6 at the half against Woodrow Wilson. The key play in this game is a 95-yard touchdown return on a kickoff by Seagoville's Kareem McAdams. That's the difference in the ball game right now. Seagoville's defense has been very good in the red zone, forcing 2 missed Woodrow Wilson field goals, and the kickoff return for a touchdown is really the big difference in this game.
To kind of young head coaches, familiar with a lot of powerhouse programs. What have you seen from both of their starts at their tenures at Coach Jackson at Seagoville, and then of course with Wilson as well?
Coach Fish took over at Woodrow Wilson, and that program, Coach Tony Benedetto, the previous head coach there at Woodrow Wilson's moved on to Plano East, and so Woodrow Wilson, that program was in pretty good standing. Coach Fish has really done a nice job taking that program and kind of elevating it. Where Coach Jackson, his program kind of started more from the ground floor. Seagoville had really been struggling, and Coach Jackson kind of had to take it and build it from scratch. And in year 1, he got Seagoville in the playoffs. They finished third in the district, and got into the playoffs. And this year they're hoping for bigger things, and they're off to a 4-1 start and playing really good football. And that's in spite of their quarterback, Caden Eichelboom, who went out a couple weeks ago with the foot injury. They don't have him right now. So Seagoville's doing a great job battling through some injuries, and they're playing very well.
Again, we apologize, but we'll go ahead and let you enjoy the rest of the halftime break. Again, Matt Stepp joining us there at that game. We'll step aside. We've got a lot of fun action to bring to you on the other side of the break. This is week number 7 of Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight. Is it a full moon outside?
There's only one state in the nation with 13 Division I FBS programs, and there's only one podcast that talks about every single one of them. Introducing the Dave Campbell's Republic of Football podcast, the most complete coverage of the Lone Star State. Join host Ishmael Johnson, Carter Yates, and Mallory Hartley live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. for the biggest news and weekly previews on all Texas FBS programs. Can't catch every college football game on Saturdays? We've got you covered with recap episodes Sunday mornings with senior writer Mike Craven checking in. Subscribe everywhere you get your podcasts, including Spotify and Apple. Strap in with your host Ishmael Johnson, producer Mallory Hartley, senior writer Mike Craven, and college writer Carter Yates for a ride that'll last from now throughout the season.
Need your daily football fix? Look no further than Texas Football Today, the daily live show from the people that bring you Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Every weekday at noon, Greg Tepper and Ashley Pickle bring you the latest news, deep dive analysis, insightful interviews with big-name guests, and more. And if you ever miss an episode, you can subscribe to the Texas Football Today podcast to keep up with all the fun. Don't miss Texas Football Today every weekday at noon at texasfootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, and subscribe to Texas Football Today wherever you get your podcasts. Nobody covers Texas high school football like Tep and Step, the premium high school football podcast from Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Dig deep into the sport in every corner of the state with high school football insider Matt Stepp and managing editor Greg Tepper, with game previews, unique insights, and bold predictions. Get Tep in Step by becoming a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber at texasfootball.com/subscribe.
We might not be good at many things, but there is one thing that we crushed, and that's naming a stinking podcast. WTF. Yes, it's exactly what you're thinking. Women talking football. Oh, you thought it meant something else? You might be right. Tune in every Thursday at 2 p.m. as me, Ashley Pickle, and everyone's favorite Mal pal, Mallory Hartley, bring you in-depth analysis of every region of the Lone Star State, talk ball with reporters across Texas, get the real scoop from coaches' wives, and all the other nonsense that comes along with the two of us being allowed to talk into a microphone. Join the party Thursdays at 2 o'clock on the Dave Campbell's Texas Football YouTube page.
Welcome back to Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight. As now we take a look at some of the score updates from 2A Division II. We got, again, a couple of good ones. Chilton and Bremond, 14-14. Let's see, Collinsville and Celeste. Yeah.
Another two unranked teams taking it too. Two top 5 teams there.
Yeah, so again, we'll keep you updated on all these schools, the top 10 in these divisions. So it's been a lot of fun. And we've got a really good game developing out there in Dallas. So we got Tommy Yarish joining us now. He's been on the call for Dallas Kimball and South Oak Cliff, and that's been a very fun one, a tie game going into the half. Tommy, thanks so much for joining us, and just kind of real quick, your thoughts on that first half.
Yeah, thanks for having me, fellas. Definitely not what I was expecting coming into this one. South Oak Cliff has beaten Kimball for the last 10 years. The last time Kimball was able to win this game was back in 2012 on November 9th. They beat Sauk 20-19. Other than that, it's been all Golden Bears ever since, and Jason Todd has been a big part of that, the head coach at South Oak Cliff. But you have to tip your hat to Bam Harrison, the second-year head coach at Kimball. He has done a phenomenal job calling plays tonight. This offense has looked good. Opening drive touchdown to start things off, and you can tell that kind of caught Sauk by surprise. But Golden Bears defense recovered pretty well after that. They forced a turnover on downs in the red zone and inside the 5-yard line at that. And they played relatively well the second half. They forced 2 field goals, but a missed extra point for South Oak Cliff and 2 punts that were just bad snaps and unable to get back even close to the line of scrimmage, forcing a turnover on downs, has held back the Golden Bears. They need to find their footing offensively if they want to escape a potential upset here.
Tommy, last season, South Oak Cliff got off to a really rough start. Of course, they had a tough non-district schedule. Of course, they ran through the district, but people still had questions about their offense and kind of the quarterback position, after losing Kevin Henry Jennings. And I don't want to say similar questions this year. They won state and they kind of fixed it in the playoffs. But, it looks like right now, it's back to a little bit of a stop-start offense a little bit. What have you kind of seen from that? Or has it been Kimball's defense kind of, making them work a little bit?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. Carter Kopecky, the quarterback for South Oak Cliff, who's been playing so far, haven't seen him throw the ball too much. They have tried to establish a run game, but Kimball's defense has been swarming to the ball. They haven't given up too many big plays, really. Really, the big plays for South Oak Cliff that set them up in good field position have come on special teams, and that's where we've seen the 2 touchdowns come for South Oak Cliff. Kopecky really not doing too much to move this offense down the field. A couple overthrown balls to get the offense going. So I think you really can question that position right now for South Oak Cliff. This is a team we knew coming into this game was going to rely heavily on the run, but the Kimball defense has done a good job of stopping the run. And so far, I think really is the Kimball defense that's winning this one out. We'll see if Sauk can turn things around here in the second half.
Yeah, you mentioned the job that, the turnaround there at Kimball. I mean, this is a South Oak Cliff team that's ran through this DISD district every single year. You mentioned how long it's been since Kimball's beaten them. How much of a, I don't want to say benefit, but how much is it for South Oak Cliff to potentially get a challenge like this? Because as we've seen, they've blown out teams by 50, 60, 70, and typically don't get a challenge. Talk about Kimball, obviously the job they've done in improving, but also could it potentially benefit Sauk to get a little bit of a scare like this?
Yeah, well, your first question, Kimball really, coming into this, Bam Harrison, his second year, when he took over last year, it obviously takes time to implement your culture, to implement your game plan and turn things around. And so far, he's done just that this year. 4-1 start, already matching the win total from a season ago. And this Campbell team looks incredibly talented. They have looked very good. They love to throw the ball around. They have wide receivers that can make stuff happen in space, and they've really played well tonight. You have to tip your cap to Bam Harrison, who has done a phenomenal job turning this around. Now, as far as Sock potentially getting a challenge here early, that's exactly what I think this team wants. Coming off of back-to-back state championships and going for a three-peat. I talked to defensive coordinator Kyle Ward earlier this week, and I asked him, it's always hard to get that second championship after you win the first one, much less back-to-back. It's even tougher to get 3 in a row. What's going to be the key for this team? And he told me experience. Getting these guys experience, a much younger South Oak Cliff team. Remember, they only bring back 1 starter on defense. By the way, 9 of the 10 that left are now playing Division I football. So that is a testament to how good Kyle Ward and Jason Todd have coached this team. But it also shows you this is an inexperienced Golden Bears football team that needs to have games like this to understand what it's like playing in tough situations and understand how to pull out a win in a slugfest where you're playing an opponent that you don't think is going to give you much trouble, but then they just come out and punch you in the mouth. So this Sock team learning a lot tonight, and I think that's exactly what Kyle Ward and Jason Todd want for their team as they aim for a 3rd state championship in a row.
All right, and then lastly, what do you expect to see there in that second half? Do you think Campbell can continue to put the scare on South Oak Cliff there in the second half?
I definitely think that they can. I think that this is going to be a close ball game, at least so far how this game has been played out. The only thing for Campbell is they need to convert in the red zone. So far, only 1 touchdown coming out of a red zone trip, and that was back on their opening drive. The South Oak Cliff defense has played very well inside the 20 when they've been with their backs to the goal line. So if the Knights can get that and get touchdowns instead of field goals, when they get into that area of the field, I think Campbell has a very good chance to upset South Oak Cliff, but you can never count out the back-to-back state champions and the number 17 and 5A Division II. Jason Todd is a great ball coach. He's going to, I'm sure there's a fiery speech going on in the locker room right now in this one. It's homecoming night here at South Oak Cliff, and the Golden Bears don't play about homecoming night. They're wearing jerseys representing and remembering their players from a season ago. This game means a lot to them, and they're going to come out in the second half with some fire. So don't discredit the back-to-back state champs, but Campbell putting up a fight. We should have a good one on our hands here at Kincaid.
Wow, it's been a lot of fun. Looks like it'll be a very exciting second half. Tommy Yarish, again, thank you so much for joining us, and enjoy that second half. And yeah, I mean, take a look at a couple of the different standings throughout, and South Oak Cliff right there at 4-2, 2-0. This is a close game, and you have Campbell right there at 4-1.
Yeah, I mean, look, every year you got to pencil in South Oak Cliff because historically they just haven't been tested, right? Are we going to have to start considering Campbell, right, as one of those teams? Their only loss, I believe you saw, their only loss this year to Dallas Carter in the Oak Cliff Super Bowl, I should say. They're going to be also heavily favored. They beat Dallas Spruce 35-15 earlier this year, and they're going to be heavily favored against Samuel and against Adamson. So, regardless of this result tonight, we're probably looking at a playoff team, and then we're probably looking at the second best team by maybe a good margin, depending on how they finish this one out.
Wow, so yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun to see how that second half goes. But I think we got some scoring, or at least an opportunity for a score here in this game.
Klein Collins looking to take a 2-possession lead potentially. Wide open. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah, I was about to say that is I don't know if that was a breakdown in coverage or just a great play design, maybe a little bit of both. But Klein Collins now going up double digits.
Either way, that's probably the easiest touchdown pass.
Probably of the year they'll probably have, as you're seeing some of the stats there for Klein Collins. Yeah, they don't really pass the ball a lot. They are a defensive team, I should mention, and they do love to run the ball. So, again, they're looking to make it 3 consecutive years, I should say, of a district championship, looking to spoil the Tomball Memorial Party, which is one of the hottest offenses in the state.
Well, they're back up by 2 scores. As we take a look now, we got some more highlights coming at you. Wimberley and Gerald in this one. It's a 98-yard connection. Jamarion Niblett showing off the speed as he picks up the ball, and no one's going to catch him. And that's just the second play from scrimmage. You saw the pregame was still up there. The second play from scrimmage from Jamarion Niblett. 98 yards, 7-0 Gerald. But then Wimberley responds 23 yards, dragging guys in, able to extend the ball over. That's a touchdown for Wembley tie game, and Wembley would bring it back. They have it again, and this is going to be Chase Carson. This time, that one's not as tough of a run for him. Up the middle, 6 yards, 14-7 Wembley. They continue as, again, their offense getting off to a pretty good start here in the first quarter. They have an opportunity. This is going to be Nolan Wada. How about that? That's a beautiful touch pass, too. 32 yards. Right on the dot, 21-7. We jump ahead, 28-7. Again, Gerald, they scored the second play of the game. They're up 7-0. It's going to be 35 unanswered points from Wembley. As this is Nolan Wada again, 45 yards. And yeah, Wembley, after going down 7-0 early, they gave up a 98-yard touchdown run to Niblet on the second play of the game, and then I guess they woke up.
Listen, we've had a lot of Wembley highlights on this show, going back to week 1 against Canyon, I believe. I think that was who they played. But, you know, Stover's leading one of the best offenses in the state, and it looked like that touchdown only made him mad.
Yeah, woke him up a little bit. So we got.
We get a live touchdown here. It's going to be, oh man, is that Baytown Lee getting on the board and tying this one up potentially?
I think so. It looked like a broken tackle. We've seen a couple of very physical plays after the catch, too, tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Some great plays from the running backs, and then, yeah, some nifty moves from the receivers after the catch. And looks like Baytown Lee able to get back on the board, so an opportunity to tie the game there in the third quarter.
I believe Lou Roche mentioned Levi Duncan having a good start for Baytown Lee, so as we see him getting on another one on the score sheet there with a touchdown pass.
So again, we saw this one earlier. Jordan, they had almost the pick six. They converted a couple of plays later, opened up a bigger lead, and looks like they're going to add to that late in the fourth over Cinco Ranch.
Yeah, it looks like they're really, really stamping themselves as the second team in this district, kind of distancing themselves from the pack here. I mean, like we mentioned, like it's a huge win to come out like this. I believe Silvers and Hallmark mentioned they lost this game last year, right?
Yep.
They kind of let that Katy game get to them and cascade into, or I guess an avalanche kind of into kind of the losing streak, and they're making sure, you can probably know that in the locker room, they're like, that's not happening again this year.
We see A&M Consolidated just kind of controlling things from the get-go. I think you mentioned Coach talking about starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Well, it's come to fruition tonight over Hendrickson, that 35-0 lead.
And it's 2:52, fast-moving third quarter for no gain after the 15-yard.
I apologize. It sounds like there's a couple of issues there with the audio from that game. But, yeah, we get back into the quad box now. We've got some fun games. And, again, you have Klein going up against Tomball Memorial. And another big play as they were just on the board, and they're marching back into Tomball territory.
Yeah, they're not done here. Oh, my goodness. Looks like they crossed the 35, look like.
A&M Consolidated. No, that's Hendrickson trying to move it in toward the red zone. And you have Cinco Ranch trying to get some positives going there past midfield and run up the middle. But, yeah, that's a good game. Again, you had Tomball moving back and made it just a one-score game. But now you have Klein coming. They scored just a second ago and now right back in scoring position.
Yeah, I will say Hendrickson, they definitely want to finish this game and obviously make it closer, but finish this game strong because last year this game was 41-0 in favor of Consolidated.
Yeah.
So already better, right? I'm not really a moral victory person, but you want something to build off of potentially. If they can score here and then end this game very well, maybe close it in, close the deficit a bit, they're already in a good spot, and I think that's what I would be saying to them. It's like, look, we're already in a better spot, but we know we can play better. I believe last week they had Glenn. They forced more turnovers versus Glenn than they allowed completions. So this is a team that is good. This Hendrickson team is very good. They stumbled last week against Georgetown. I believe that Glenn game was actually 2 weeks ago. Sorry, but they stumbled last week against Georgetown, so they're kind of on a little bit of a snide. And so you kind of want to. You don't want this to steamroll, right?
Yeah.
You don't want this deficit to kind of grow on you and get Consolidated is going to be, along with College Station and Georgetown, is going to be one of the bigger teams in this district, and you don't want to let this game get away from you.
Yep. As
we see, it looks like we get a turnover here. I think we got a turnover.
Yeah.
Touchdown.
Oh, touchdown. I think it was a turnover.
Yeah, it was a turnover because Klein Collins had the ball. Yeah, so I think they're in the red zone, so they pick.
Oh, wow. What a grab.
Wow. I know what a turnover looks like, so that is definitely
that's Colin,
huge for Tomball Memorial.
Colin Helmer, who went up and made the grab on the interception. That's impressive there by the 6-foot defensive back to go up and make that play.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, they're about to go down 3 scores potentially if that didn't happen. So we'll see, right? Klein Collins' defense has been really, really good, and if they can kind of shut down this offense from Aiden Martin. Look, I'll read off some numbers here. Aiden Martin, he's probably over 1,300 yards passing now, 17 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I mentioned he spreads the ball around. So 300 yards receiving for Lane Stockton, 300 yards receiving for Lance Martinez, 500 yards running for Travion Green. This is a balanced attack for Tomball Memorial. Is putting up 53 points a game. I don't want that to go unnoticed. Yeah. So the fact that Klein Collins is holding them at the 14 right now is huge. But you can tell that the Wildcats are probably itching to get the ball back and show exactly what they can do.
Well, and they'll have an opportunity now with that turnover as we take a look at the standings in that district. And down by 2 scores, but now an opportunity to get that balanced offense back out there and get them chugging along in the second half.
Yeah, speaking of districts that are going to be fun to watch, of course I mentioned Klein Collins back-to-back district champs, but, I mean, as we're seeing here, Tomball really, obviously we're watching Tomball Memorial, but Tomball is going to be in the fight for this as well. Klein Kane unfortunately took a really big loss to Tomball Memorial earlier this year, but they're going to be very much in this regardless to the end.
All right, well, at the beginning of the show, we were talking about one of those big games. Summer Creek had a very fun matchup in last night's game where they fell just short to North Shore, but that's been a really fun district to watch. We had Gavin Moritz was able to sit down with their head coach, Kenny Harrison. Here's more.
Although they're off to an undefeated start, Summer Creek knows that they have a gauntlet of a schedule coming up to finish out 21-6A play. But for Kenny Harrison and the Bulldogs, they're focusing first on North Shore this Thursday. Before getting to Summer Creek, Coach Harrison had the opportunity to coach in his hometown of Port Arthur.
It was very special to me, being from Port Arthur and loving my community, getting the opportunity to work with the kids from Port Arthur that came up in the same neighborhood, same area that I grew up in. It was definitely a dream job for me.
The leadership in Humble ISD was a massive part of why Kenny Harrison came to Summer Creek in 2018.
Just amazing feeling. We had great leadership in Brent McDonald. Troy Kite was running a successful athletic program here in Humble. It was just something I was really looking forward to being a part of. Just a first-class district and a first-class high school, first-class community. Again, led by Brent McDonald. I was just fired up and excited and ready to go.
Although he's a former wide receiver, Coach Harrison and the Bulldogs take great pride in their stout defense.
I tell you what, I see a lot of similarities in the team. At that time, we were led by a strong defensive unit, and just same here at Summer Creek this year. Our front seven has done a tremendous job, and our secondary has come along over the last couple of weeks. Offensively, we're getting better each and every week. Blake Thomas is a great leader, along with Lloyd Avant, and the offensive line is growing. We're having kids that's stepping up each and every week, and that's huge for us.
If you're searching for a leader of the 2023 Summer Creek Bulldogs, look no further than Tulsa commit running back Lloyd Avant.
Just a first-class young man. He's played 31 high school football games up until this point, 32 this Thursday. He's just a tremendous leader on and off the field. He's a young man that leads by example. Doesn't say much, but he leads by example, and the kids follow him. So I'm looking forward to getting him back on the field this week and ready to go.
Kenny Harrison, ahead of Thursday's Week 7 matchup with North Shore, has high praise for first-year head coach Willie Gaston and the Mustangs as a whole.
North Shore is a first-class program, and our guys understand. They've played 48 games in 3 years. It's a measuring stick for us. We went through all season. I wouldn't be telling the truth if I told you we were not focused on playing North Shore and understand what we have to do in order to compete and come out with a victory against North Shore. Willie Gaston does a great job taking over for John Kay. He's been there. Our guys are just focused and ready to go, and our main focus is we do not worry about what's on the other team's chest. We just play Summer Creek football week in and week out, and we feel good about our opportunities against anybody.
With a tough final 5 weeks ahead of them, Summer Creek isn't looking too far ahead in 21-6A.
We just got to continue to get better each and every week, eliminate the mental mistakes that we've made. We've talked about, one of the things that we talked about from an offensive standpoint is extending drives, make sure we're not going 3 and out, getting off the field on defense on third downs. We had some silly penalties in the first couple games that we had to work through, giving teams extra opportunities. We can't do that against quality football teams such as North Shore. You give them extra downs, that can put you in a very serious situation. So our guys are focused and ready to go. Looking forward to a quality matchup. We'll be ready on Thursday night.
There's only one state in the nation with 13 Division I FBS programs, and there's only one podcast that talks about every single one of them. Introducing the Dave Campbell's Republic of Football podcast, the most complete coverage of the Lone Star State. Join host Ishmael Johnson, Carter Yates, and Mallory Hartley live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. for the biggest news and weekly previews on all Texas FBS programs. Can't catch every college football game on Saturdays? We've got you covered with recap episodes Sunday mornings with senior writer Mike Craven checking in. Subscribe everywhere you get your podcasts, including Spotify and Apple. Strap in with your host Ishmael Johnson, producer Mallory Hartley, senior writer Mike Craven, and college writer Carter Yates for a ride that'll last from now throughout the season.
Need your daily football fix? Look no further than Texas Football Today, the daily live show from the people that bring you Dave Campbell's Texas football. Every weekday at noon, Greg Tepper and Ashley Pickle bring you the latest news, deep dive analysis, insightful interviews with big-name guests, and more. And if you ever miss an episode, you can subscribe to the Texas Football Today podcast to keep up with all the fun. Don't miss Texas Football Today every weekday at noon at texasfootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, and subscribe to Texas Football Today wherever you get your podcasts. Nobody covers Texas high school football like Tep and Step, the premium high school football podcast from Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Dig deep into the sport in every corner of the state with high school football insider Matt Stepp and managing editor Greg Tepper, with game previews, unique insights, and bold predictions. Get Tep and Step by becoming a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber at texasfootball.com/subscribe.
We might not be good at many things, but there is one thing that we crushed, and that's naming a stinking podcast. WTF. Yes, it's exactly what you're thinking. Women talking football. Oh, you thought it meant something else? You might be right. Tune in every Thursday at 2 p.m. as me, Ashley Pickle, and everyone's favorite Mal pal, Mallory Hartley, bring you in-depth analysis of every region of the Lone Star State, talk ball with reporters across Texas, get the real scoop from coaches' wives, and all the other nonsense that comes along with the two of us being allowed to talk into a microphone. Join the party Thursdays at 2 o'clock on the Dave Campbell's Texas Football YouTube page. Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Texas Army National Guard are honored to present the Coach of the Week Award, celebrating one head coach in 7 different classifications. That's 6A all the way down to 6-man, and of course, private school every single week. Think your head coach deserves some recognition? Nominate them under our weekly Twitter and Facebook post. Those will come out Friday at 10:30 p.m., Saturday 8:30 p.m., and Sunday at 6:30 p.m. That's facebook.com/Dave Campbell's or at DCTF on Twitter. Thank you to Texas Army National Guard for helping spotlight the hard work and dedication of high school head coaches across Texas.
Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Ozarka will announce 7 Team of the Week winners for 14 weeks of the Texas high school football season from Class 6A down to 6-man and including private schools. Head to texasfootball.com, go to the awards tab, and find Ozarka Team of the Week to see this season's winners and vote for your program to be named. Winners are announced every Wednesday on Twitter and Facebook.
Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Panini America are teaming up this season to honor the best high school quarterbacks across the state of Texas. 7 quarterbacks, 1 in each classification, 1A through 6A in private schools, will be named Quarterback of the Week and will receive a virtual Panini America trading card to commemorate their performance. Check out which outstanding quarterback was selected each Tuesday morning on the Dave Campbell's Twitter and Facebook pages.
Now taking a look at some of the scoring updates, the top teams in the 2A Division I ranking. Got Sonora taking on Zona. That's a pretty good one right there. Stratford 32-7. So yeah, again, nothing too out of the ordinary.
Yeah, Toller and Coleman's probably going to be one of the tougher games in that district. So Toller taking care of business is pretty big.
And then we'll take a look now at the updates from our spotlight game. South Oak Cliff able to reclaim their lead over Dallas Campbell.
Barbers Hill holding on 28-21 right now, and I mean, Consolidated looking to really put this one away. Katie Jordan, of course, we mentioned them. It's really in control of that one. And Klein Collins, I mean, looks like they were able to kind of take advantage, not fall behind after that interception that Tomball Memorial had in the red zone.
Waxahachie put up 10 over Duncanville. They were down 30-0 at the half, but Duncanville with a couple of scores.
Yeah.
And looks like we're all tuning in now. A couple of broken tackles.
Okay.
Again, we've seen that quite a bit tonight. Some hard-nosed running, some missed tackles, and that ends up in a score.
Yeah. Looks like New Caney and Conroe here now, 20-10 New Caney. Yeah, a couple closer games elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have some blow. It's kind of a nice mix, right? We have some teams like, honestly, if Kimball ends up keeping this close, that's probably a big enough result to warrant this whole night, basically. But of course, if checking in with these games, these are actually really, really cool and really fun, close ones.
Yeah, Baytown Lee and Barbers Hill, 28-21. So, and yeah, you talk about the Kimball being able to keep close with Oak Cliff, and again, they weren't able to get the, Tommy Yarish was talking about, that's a team that really likes to air out the ball, and they weren't able to do that in their one loss against Dallas Carter, but have been able to really pick that up and making that a very exciting game against South Oak Cliff.
Yeah, as we're seeing, I do want to mention that New Caney Porter Crosby score. Of course, New Caney Porter went up just now, but Crosby 0-6 right now heading into this game, and potentially looking for their first win under. They're looking for the first win of the season so far. So it could be a huge win for them if they're able to kind of answer back. Of course, we saw New Caney Porter take over, retake the lead, I should say, as we check in here to Baytown Lee and Barbers Hill, which we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, it's been a good one again. Barbers Hill 3-1 in district play, 5-1 overall. Baytown Lee 3-2. So Baytown Lee keeping it very close. If they could perhaps pull off an upset, that would be a huge win in the district standings. But they'll start with a pretty long field.
Yeah, fans of Texas high school football probably remember Carl Absek when he was coaching at Cedar Park. He led Cedar Park to their last state championship appearance when they lost to Denton Ryan, I believe in 2020, technically 2021, because that season blended over into the new year. But he left for Barbers Hill, and he's had them, 8-4 last year, I believe, and then now has them going really well so far again. All right, so we do got some more highlights here. Let's go to the DFW area. We're going to go to Flower Mound and Plano East, and we're going to start here in the third quarter. Plano East quarterback is going to roll right. He's going to find his wide open man. He's going to take it all the way past the red zone. High step in, 17-10, Plano East. And this one's going to be Luke Allison. He's going to read the QB perfectly for an interception. Steps in front of his man right there. Give the ball back to Plano East. See if they can take a commanding lead. Back on offense now. Plano East is going to drop back. Quarterback's going to step up here. Look deep. Finds his man wide open. Past the defense. Looked like the defense got cheated up there when they thought he was probably going to run for a first down. 27-10 now, all Plano East. Flower Mound's going to try to get on the board here. Nice roll up to the right. End zone. Oh, jump ball. Beautiful. Moss is the defender. 27-17 right now. Actually, 34-17 now in the fourth quarter. Plano East.
Man, what a grab.
Yeah. I'm about to say, I love, wide receiver grabs like that. That's basically the equivalent of like the dunk in basketball, like the poster dunk in a basketball. In a basketball game, come on now. That's the best kind of highlights for me.
Man, yeah. So yeah, he went up and mossed him. So I guess had the poster and then the moss. All right,
Look,
there we go.
Yeah. Randy Moss is, to me, the greatest receiver of all time when he has a verb.
Yeah.
Right. Moss. Right. There's no offense to Jerry Rice. There's no Rice. There's no Calvin Johnson, right? Mossed. Everybody knows it. Doesn't matter where you are in the country, you know what that means. Yep. You may not even know, kids younger may not even know Randy Moss, but they know Moss.
Just know.
They know where that comes from.
Well, so yeah, we got a Most right there, right on Texan Live. That's worth the price of admission.
Listen, I can give my spiel again if you want about the subscription.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's tradition.
All right, TexanLive.com. Any of these games we're zooming into right now, if you're a Crosby fan, you're a New Caney Porter fan, you want to watch this game in full without us yapping behind it, or you want to watch.
I don't know why they wouldn't want to hear
us.
us.
It's free. We're also free here too right now. But if you decide you want to watch it later, because you can on demand, TexanFootball.com/subscribe or Texan Live, right? Just subscribe right there. If you're watching us on Texan Live, we already have your email because you had to sign up. It's free, but you had to sign up. And so you can just hit that subscribe button. Watch any of the games. I mentioned the Katy District, right? How that's going to come down to crazy 3rd and 4th place finishes there. We're going to have those on Texan Live. You can watch any of these teams. If you're a Texas Tech fan, you want to watch a certain Micah Hudson.
Oh, man.
We got them,
the
right?
highlight we saw.
Oh, my God. Yeah, Nick was showing me a highlight
Twitter.
on Twitter.
A shout out to UNT alumni as well, Shaji Adam, who got the highlight on that.
Micah Hudson had a juke and a stiff arm at the same time. And again, if you just want to watch that dude go off and I forgot his name. There's another receiver, another defensive player for them, D1 caliber as well. If you want to watch both those guys just go off, TexanLive.com, subscribe. You don't have to watch us. You can. We're here. We'll be here all season. But, sometimes people get sick of us. I don't know why.
I would have no idea why. But, we got another exciting play here. Tomball Memorial with the ball. Do we have another turnover or is it a score? Oh, that's a grab.
What a move.
Yeah, that's a nice move right there. So that's going to be a nice grab right there. We'll take you right into the call on that game.
In front of them.
Spread set. Balanced. Martin looking to the sideline, communicating, getting the signal from Coach Parker. Motion across the formation. A little bit of a low snap. Martin corrals it, trying to find Stockton, and a little bit behind him. And again, the low snaps have been an issue all night. And
Listen.
I feel for Martin. You got a critical 4th down play. You're having to scoop the ball off the turf, try to set your feet, deliver. I mean, that ain't easy.
But you're right. It's a box play from the start. But that's when the football player in Martin has to kick in and say, okay, it's a bad snap. My receiver is not even set. I gotta do something else. Probably throw the ball away.
I think you should have tried to. You're saying you should have tuck it. And try to
create. Of course. That's been work. That's the only thing working them all night. And then when he kind of just plays it by the book, it doesn't go necessarily their way.
I mean, Martin has shown some wheels tonight.
He's an amazing athlete. He's a fantastic athlete. He's probably faster than half that Klein College defense.
All right, spread set. Parks is alone in the backfield. There's a sniffer back in front of him. So that's,
there he goes.
Design run.
And there is 7 again.
you know one thing? It's a mentality. I just saw number 23 for Klein Collins, the receiver, Dietrich Young, blocking hard, 40 yards away from where the ball's at.
Listen,
it's an identity. The receivers block out there.
Listen, and it starts with Mitchell. It has to, because I mean, I got that energy from him, and I can see it through his team now. They're a very aggressive, hard-nosed team.
And there's a player down for the Wildcats. We'll step away and be right back here on Texan Live.
Welcome back to Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight. We've had a lot of fun here so far.
Anybody wonder what the back of my phone looks like? That's what it does.
It's getting late. It's getting late into the evening. We're having fun. We're having lots of fun, some exciting games. And, let's get back into the quad box. Why don't we?
Casetify sponsor us, by the way. We'd be more than happy to have some fun.
We've got an opportunity. Baytown Lee marching down the field, meanwhile, trying to tie that game up. So, all right. Serious talk. We got some good scores going on here. And again, Baytown Lee, we have New Caney and Conroe. That one's going on. But Baytown Lee with an opportunity. Or no, I beg your pardon. That's going to be Barbers Hill with a chance.
Chance to put it away.
Yeah,
really,
that's my fault. That's my fault.
Stretch the lead here and put this one away potentially.
That one's still in the 3rd quarter, so Barbers Hill with an opportunity, to put it to a 2-score game. We'll have Crosby and Porter. That's been a fun game, and Porter with the 8-point lead in the 4th quarter. Take some looks around 3A Division II. And how about Gunther? I mean, 57-0, shellacking over number 8 ranked Bells.
Yeah, man, how about Newton over there? 76-0 over Hemphill. Canadian taking care of business with Childress. Yeah, I mean, 3AD2, top teams in 3AD2 really taking care of business, looks like.
Yeah, so a couple of scores from there. And again, just like to keep everyone updated on some of those big players in each of these districts all around, or all these divisions and districts all around the state of Texas, as we're right in the middle of district play now, trying to get a better understanding of what maybe those playoff pushes would look like in that road to AT&T Stadium down to Jerry World. But yeah, it looks like a couple of some fun games there, and a couple, like we've seen throughout the night, some very lopsided games, and that one no different, as New Caney and Conroe there in the fourth quarter. 10-point lead for New Caney.
Conroe needs to stop here. Hand it off Stewart, and he runs right into a mess. And not much to do there. Once again, Trantham right there in the middle of it. And he'll lose a yard. It's going to be third and a long 9. As we're under 6 minutes to play here. If they go for the field goal, you're just inside Rodriguez's range. Taylor looking over the middle, incomplete for Sanchez. Across the middle, incomplete. And now they're going to bring Rodriguez in to try a long field goal. He'll be going straight up the middle from 38 yards. Sanchez to hold it.
3-yard touchdown. Fuentes to throw. Got a man open and caught. That pass to Brady Thompson. And now Baytown Lee about to
try and get this game out of reach.
With the fourth quarter left to play.
First and 10 from midfield. 4:17 to go in the third quarter.
Brady Thompson with that touchdown grab, and that expands their leads. But again, you look at Barbers Hill with the 2-possession lead, and Brady Thompson with that touchdown grab, and that's going to be his 18th career receiving touchdown.
Yeah, 7th on the year so far. Almost, I believe, probably over 400 yards on the year right now. Cody Fuentes loves to spread the ball around, but Brady Thompson is his #1 target, as you're seeing there. Like you mentioned, almost 20. He's probably going to finish the year easily with 20 career touchdown catches. So, no, definitely an explosive Barbers Hill offense, and really, even though by their standards probably taking a step back this week, still putting up points and putting up numbers.
Yeah, up now by 2 scores. Still a lot of time to go, but they're eyeing a 6-1 start, looking to go 4-1 in district play. So it's a big score over Baytown lead. Again, go back up by 2 possessions. We take a look again at some of those other scores. Klein Collins, that's 35-14 over Tomball Memorial. That one's kind of a topsy-turvy game at the start, and Klein Collins looks like they were able to run away with it. And
get a New Caney pick here, or a big gain here, excuse me, for New Caney.
I like the celebration,
yeah.
like the dance.
Looks like it was a turnover. Yeah, wow, that's a massive for them, looking to put this one away. Almost officially up double digits. You know, Connor probably needed a big drive there to get this one within swinging distance, but yeah, big turnover for New Caney right on the goal line. Looks like about the 3, about the 5 actually, as they can very much take their time with getting this one in the end zone.
Yep, so New Caney with the turnover. Let's take a look at some of the other scores there. The Colony and Brewer. That's been a fun game late in going into the fourth quarter. Colony with a slim advantage in that game. And again, Porter and Crosby, that's a fun one in the fourth. An 8-point lead for Porter at the moment. yeah, like you talking about New Caney with that turnover can take their sweet time of trying to run down the clock and punch it in from within 5 yards,
Looks
or
like they
just
do that.
yeah, just run it right
They
up
just
the
punch
middle.
it in, and looks like they're going to go on to win this one. If I'm going to, we'll see. Obviously, anything can happen, but it looks pretty comfortable here for New Caney.
So it'll be a good win for them. New Caney again, the defense with the turnover, and the offense wastes no time punching it into the end zone. And again, back to this game, fourth quarter, Brewer and the Colony. James Tritley on the call for this one, as we'll take you to him now.
To play, McCloudon and Cox in the backfield. McCloudon on the right side, defense ready. Third down, Cox fighting forward. Does he have enough for the first down? Might be marked short of the line to gain. Looks like he is.
Regardless, you got to go for it here.
This is a do-or-die play here. This kind of is a very decisive play. They convert on this. They control the clock, and they control their own destiny here in Week 7. Here goes the Colony on fourth down. Handoff. McCloudon gets space on the right side, gets wrestled down to the ground. I don't know if he got that. So it looks like, I thought they ruled it a fourth down, so just a little bit confusion up here in the booth. It was a first down play. They gave him a first down. Now on second down, the run by McCloudon. Now pass play, Cox over on the right side, incomplete. Yeah, one-on-one coverage. Target on the right side, Carmelo Torres was the intended target.
And that is beautiful coverage there to bring up a third and long. This is a much-needed stop. They are pretty much well outside of field goal territory. So if they can get a stop here and get the ball back, if they can calm down that offense and tell them to rein it in, try and get a solid offensive drive to bring this game back.
There we go, third down. Carson Cox looking to pass, pressure coming, stays on his feet, just gets the ball off. It'll be incomplete. He was hit as he threw, and that's a big stop there for Brewer. The Brewer Bears defense, that might have been their best defensive drive of this half.
Absolutely. Cameron Clay and Elijah Mande were back in the backfield, and it got those initial hits and pretty much shut that play down completely.
Low snap, picked up, and running it in is Sanchez. Didn't want to do it that way, but it turns out.
Wow, so able to convert, or had the bobbled hold right there, and just able to barrel it through.
Yeah, looks like they're about to take this one into the locker room, I should say, with a commanding lead there. So, yeah, big win for New Caney, kind of putting Conroe away to finish this one off late.
So we'll take a look at some of the other scores now. 3A Division I. Columbus 21-7 lead over Hallettsville. We have a Hitchcock 28-18.
That one's a little surprising.
A little bit.
Hitchcock's a team that I'm really high on. Had a great year last season with Lloyd Jones at quarterback, Damien McDaniel, but they're in kind of a little bit of a fight, looks like, with Yoakum.
Paradise 51-0 over Boyd. So, yeah, taking a look at a few of those. Nothing too surprising outside the Hitchcock game.
Yeah, no, nothing really, but that one is one to keep an eye on, kind of to see the finish of that one.
All right, well, we'll take another break as we got more highlights rolling in. Game's starting to come down toward the end. We'll keep you with all that action on the other side of the break. So you're watching Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight.
Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Texas Army National Guard are honored to present the Coach of the Week Award, celebrating one head coach in 7 different classifications. That's 6A all the way down to 6-man, and of course, private school every single week. Think your head coach deserves some recognition? nominate them under our weekly Twitter and Facebook post. Those will come out Friday at 10:30 p.m., Saturday 8:30 p.m., and Sunday at 6:30 p.m. That's facebook.com/Dave Campbell's or at DCTF on Twitter. Thank you to Texas Army National Guard for helping spotlight the hard work and dedication of high school head coaches across Texas.
Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Ozarka will announce 7 Team of the Week winners for 14 weeks of the Texas high school football season from Class 6A down to 6-man and including private schools. Head to texasfootball.com, go to the awards tab, and find Ozarka Team of the Week to see this season's winners and vote for your program to be named. Winners are announced every Wednesday on Twitter and Facebook.
Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Panini America are teaming up this season to honor the best high school quarterbacks across the state of Texas. 7 quarterbacks, 1 in each classification, 1A through 6A and private schools, will be named Quarterback of the Week and will receive a virtual Panini America trading card to commemorate their performance. Check out which outstanding quarterback was selected each Tuesday morning on the Dave Campbell's Twitter and Facebook pages.
Welcome back, Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight. We got some more highlights. We had Tomball taking on Waller as we take you in now into the third quarter from this game. And this is going to be a defensive highlight as Toby D2 able to break through the line. Gets a tackle for loss. At this point, it's 28-8 in favor of Tomball as Waller trying to get something going, heaving one toward the end zone. And Matthew Gainey is going to get the interception in the end zone to keep it at just 8 points for Waller. Another opportunity for the Waller offense. It's going to be another interception. This time it's going to be number 11, Keegan Demmer. So a couple of interceptions for that Tomball defense. And then we'll see a bit of a screen able to waltz into the end zone. All Tomball tonight, 41-8. Oh, yeah. Got a tackle for loss, couple interceptions. We've seen a few interceptions tonight, so it's nice to see a couple more right there.
I wonder if we have a count on the Juan Aguilar tally.
Oh,
has Carter Kopecky thrown the one? I wonder, has he added another one to the tally?
That's a good question. I wonder if there's a way we can find that out.
Anybody watching the Sock Kimball game on Texan Live, at Ishmael R. Johnson on Twitter, let me know.
We need to see if we need to add another quarterback
I
there
was about
to the wall.
We should have live put live show the graphic with Carter Kopecky up there now.
Yeah, that's been a really fun game. Kind of surprising, I think, for a lot of people that Campbell was keeping it as close as they were. This game, it looked like Baytown Lee was going to have an opportunity. Barbers Hill moved back to a 2-possession lead. Still time in the third quarter, though, and Baytown Lee moving their way into Barbers Hill territory.
Yep, LeVay Duncan right there, as you see, hitting his man. He's not this isn't a kind of a wide open offense necessarily. They're pretty balanced, Baytown Lee, I should say. But he does have the ability to throw the ball. He has almost 1,500 yards, I believe, probably over now 1,500 yards on his career, 900 yards on the season, 10 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. So he's a capable player, and he's going to need, if they want to finish this one out, still a third quarter. It's not an insurmountable lead by any means. Obviously, he's nearing the red zone here. If they want to get back into this one, he's going to have to be a big reason why.
Taylor in the backfield on the right hip. Duncan to throw again. Now he'll pull it down and run. Gets away from one defender. Up to across the 20 to the 19. A yard shy of the first down.
Short of the first. Brings it down to the 19.
Taylor will remain in the backfield with Duncan on his right hip. Trips to the near side. Sole receiver up top. Duncan will keep it again. 15. Up near the 10 as he sidesteps a defender. And then he gets upended at the 9, but that'll move the chains. First and goal, Baytown Lee. As Duncan picks up another 10 on the ground, he makes it look easy. there a flag on the play that the officials are discussing? Let's see. Maybe it's something else here as some of the attendants come out. The ball will be set down at the 9 when we resume play. 8.5 minutes exactly left
for 1 yard.
Ball game. 35-21.
Under 30 seconds to go now here in our third quarter.
Now we're
see if
get a
Campbell
timeout.
decides
It
to
looks like
run one more play or just take this to the fourth. They will elect to take us to the final frame. So 30-13, excuse me. This game was tied at 13 at halftime. And now the Golden Bears and back-to-back state champs, 17 unanswered in the third quarter. Final 12 minutes coming up in 30 seconds.
One more.
Yeah, so South Oak Cliff able to pull away there in the third quarter. We'll see how that fourth goes. But looking now at some of the updates, 4A Division II and Carthage rolling over Canton, 42-0. It was a good one. West Orange Star taking on Hampshire Fennett. That's been a good one, 14-14.
Yeah, I believe that score at the top right there, Pleasant Grove, Gilmer, 35-7. I believe Caden Tennyson, unfortunately, was taken out of that game. Unfortunately, did not finish, so hopefully there's a good update, positive update for him. But, yeah, that Gilmer offense was probably playing down its best player, arguably, which, of course, you hate to see.
And we saw a few highlights from that Wimberley and Gerald game, and Ish, I believe we got some more highlights.
We do. Santa Fe and Nederland. Let's get some special team highlights. We started with special teams. We're going to end it a little bit with special teams with a punt block there. That's going to be Jackson Smith recovering it in the end zone. Nederland up. So he's going to hold on to a lead, though, 21-10, despite Santa Fe with a massive punt block there. But Nederland's going to answer. This is going to be Hubert Thomas. Low snap, doesn't matter. Right up the middle. Untouched, makes one move. Oh, almost untouched. Touched the heel, though. 28 yards, his third touchdown of the night. And you know what? He's the man of the night. We're going to give it to him again. This time, he's going to take it 55 yards right through the defense. One man touches him, but can't bring him down. Separation, 55 yards, 4 touchdowns for him, 34-20, Nederland on Santa Fe right now.
Belton taking on Rouse. It's in the third quarter, 32-yard dot to Rayshawn Peoples as Belton able to get on the board. I mean, you can't put it any better than that. Rayshawn Peoples able to reel it in. And then on the other side, you have Rouse's Anthony Reyes able to make the grab. So a couple of nice touchdown catches on each side.
Yeah, looks like we're jumping back into Barbers Hill and Baytown Lee here. Baytown Lee tried to, looked like it was Duncan going for the end zone, trying to get this back to a one-score game, get this one in range. Still third quarter, right? So this is still very much in their grasp. But, of course, Barbers Hill looking to get a stop here, hold them to a field goal maybe, or even force a turnover, and then get the ball back and potentially put this one away.
That'd be huge, obviously, in the third quarter to bring it back to within one score. And we've seen a couple of red zone turnovers tonight on the show. See if Barbers Hill is up to the task.
As you see right here. Ooh, I mean.
Off the mark.
I was about to say a little bit off the mark.
Or maybe miscommunication. Looked like he was expecting him to kind of cut in through the middle of the field.
Sure. I almost thought I guess I misread that the way the Barbers Hill safety or corner was playing that. I was a little worried that was going to be a pick. Because you mentioned the red zone turnovers we had today so far.
Yeah, I mean, those are, and I got to imagine, coaches hate turnovers, but red zone turnovers, just a whole nother level.
I was about to say, you get down there, especially they're moving the ball, right? They're able to show that they can
opportunity.
Move the ball.
Maybe people are thinking it's a score. Turns out it's, then you turn the ball over. That's tough, but.
Big third down here for Baytown Lee. Oh, pressure. Oh, how about that? Getting the pressure from Barbers Hill to force a fourth down. I mean, they're probably going to kick a field goal, but they got to think. Oh, looks like they're actually going to get a flag here. I wonder if it's going to be a roughing or a potential holding. I see some clapping. I see some clapping, so it's probably going to be a roughing potentially, if I had to guess. Looks like it was thrown in the vicinity of the pocket, so we'll see where that one goes. That one's not over third quarter, right? That's probably the only game we have right now in the third quarter, I would say. So that one's a little bit of a straggling game. So we'll see how that one finishes out.
Saw earlier at Colony, they were able to convert on that 4th down and inches. They took a little bit of time off in the 4th, and we got a big play.
Let's see, it looked like we had almost a sack there at the Brewer game, and he was able to get back to almost a game.
Yeah.
This looked like it was about to be a loss of 10, and then he was able to scramble and get, looks like a gain of 4 about. That's a way to save a play, I guess.
Wow.
If you're a Brewer, you're like, come on, man.
26 left on the clock. And Brewer's going to take their second timeout. We're going to stay right here on the broadcast. Not sure if we are, you're just joining over from Texas Football Tonight on Dave Campbell's Texan Live. James Trelly, Alex Weister. And what a game this has been.
Absolutely.
I mean, Brewer dominated the first half. The second half has been the Colony the entire way, 22 unanswered points, and it's been because of Carson Cox and his ability to do what he does.
Completely. And while we've seen the Brewer defense sort of try their best to keep them in the game, the Colony's defense has really been the story. The dominant run game. We talked about nearly 9 yards per carry. We have seen the Brewer run game completely stifled throughout this game. And even when they do start to get something going, it is immediately hit by a self-inflicted wound, and it's just all negated. And now this right here, a 4th and medium, this is the game.
This is it right here. Empty backfield for the man Jordan Clark. Had an excellent game all night. 4th and 6 from the 45. Pressure coming. Clark looking to pass. Tries to escape the pressure. He might try and take it himself. He's got nowhere to go. Trips up and gets taken down in the backfield. And that is likely all she wrote. The Colony coming up with a huge stop. And they can likely just run this one out. Put this one to bed.
Yeah, looks like that. I mean, Brewer there, 4th down. Excuse me, 4th down, rolling out to the right. I mean, you got to throw the ball in that situation, right? I understand you have pressure there, but that's one that I feel like head coach can kind of put the arm around the shoulder and be like, hey, look, this is in that situation, right? As Colony, it looks like the Colony's going to kneel this one out. In that situation, it's 4th down. If you throw a pick, you throw a pick, but you just got to kind of put it up there, give your guy a fighting chance, and give your team. It's unfortunate that he didn't have the protection he needed and kind of tried to make something happen on his own. But that's one of those where, it's a growing moment, I think, for that team and that coaching staff. But regardless, a great game and good win for the Colony.
Yeah, taking some looks now at Division I 4A. Again, you see some pretty gaudy numbers offensively. Salina, Chapel Hill. Chapel Hill, of course, we know that offense pretty well. We've seen quite a lot of their highlights this year.
Bernie, of course, taking care of business versus Uvalde, a team that me and Ashley Pickle were pretty high on early last year, heading into the playoffs, and good to see them kind of continuing to take care of business. They lost some seniors on offense, I believe a wide receiver, but Braden Bays at quarterback is able to guide them into another pretty comfortable win this week.
And China Spring 57-20 over Alvarado. So that's how some of those top schools in 4A Division I have fared in week number 7. Taking a look here, Temple and Midway. It's Temple trying to claw their way back into it late in the final moments of that 3rd quarter.
Yeah, it looks like that was a 4th down, so I think that one might be a turnover on downs a little bit. To get back to the quad box here.
Yeah. And Baytown Lee.
I was about to say, is it me or has Baytown Lee been in the red zone for 5 hours now?
Feels like it.
Yeah, I felt like we last cut into this game. They were literally at that exact spot, and now we've cut away, looked at the Colony and for Brewer, and as we see a touchdown, look there at Conroe. Getting back into this one a little bit.
There we go. Yeah, in the 4th, it's going to be at 28-16.
Yeah.
Pending the extra point.
Potentially.
You never know. You never know.
Not bad, yeah. Curious how much is left in that one. I mean, it's not an insurmountable lead.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see if Conroe can get back into that one.
I like that, the row on top there on their jersey. I like it.
Not sure if anybody's ever called him the row, though, but it's fine.
No? Let's start it now. That'll be a Texas Football Tonight thing.
As we see, this one really went the way of the Bears. Goodness, as we're seeing a long touchdown, and this one is officially going to be put on ice.
Well, and no shots taken here to Campbell, but you kind of thought that this is what was going to happen with South Oak Cliff there in the second half, that they were going to really start to pull away and see the kind of the physicality of South Oak Cliff start to wear down Campbell. But that's nothing to take away from a very good Campbell Knights team that hung with them for all that first half and much of that third quarter. But South Oak Cliff and that talent just able to kind of pull away in the second half.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, this is going to be a building block game for them, right? We mentioned a couple years ago they were getting destroyed in this game, right? But now they're right in in that district. So, but we do have some more highlights coming in this one. We have some games winding down. So let's go back down to the Houston area. Let's go to Cy Fair and Cy Creek in the second half. This is going to be a familiar name for this program. Trey Owens is going to give it off to James Walker up the middle. He's going to make a man miss, run through one tackle, and put Cy Fair up, 40-3 in the third quarter. But Cy Creek's not going to go away. This is going to be Austin Honeycutt. He's going to take the snap here. He's going to just throw it up for his man in the end zone. See if he can come down with it. You know what? He can. In the middle of coverage. That's going to be Nick Zatopek, cut the lead to 40-10. We're going to come back to Cy Creek. They have the ball again. Stephen Cheney. He's going to be listed as, he's going to be get the screen here and take it underneath. Excuse me, that was Stephen Cheney on the pass to Garland Wilburn. Screen to take it 20 yards before getting pushed out of bounds. And our final part for Cy Creek, they're going to try to come back into this lead. Game's a little bit out of reach, but it doesn't matter. Of course, it's going to be Cheney again. Shotgun, fires over the middle, finds the topic again in the end zone. His second score of the game, 40-17, but of course some of the backups there getting some playing time for Cy Creek.
Looks like able to convert on the 2-point conversion.
Okay, 10-point game.
Get the feet in just barely.
10-point game here.
Yeah, and again, not sure exactly how much time left in that fourth quarter, but that's 10 points.
Yeah,
that's not bad.
That's something. We'll have to keep an eye on that one as it finishes.
I'm trying to keep an eye here on the Baytown Lee and Barbers Hill game. We'll get to that a little bit later, though. What do I know? We got Maid Creek and Seven Lakes here in the fourth quarter. This is going to come down, looks like, to an onside kick.
If I'm not mistaken, this game potentially could have some divisional implications in terms of which Katy schools make the playoffs and kind of kicking up to D1, D2. Of course, in 6A, it's done by school enrollment. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, again, I could be wrong on this, but I believe Seven Lakes is one of the bigger schools there and could potentially kick Katy up to D1, could keep them in D2. That's kind of the other interesting part of this is that Katy's divisional fate is kind of out of their hands. It really depends on what other schools in the Katy district make the playoffs. If they're one of the smaller teams in the enrollment-wise, they go D2, like we've seen in the past couple years. But if one of these bigger schools miss the playoffs, then they'll go D1 potentially. So, and it kind of creates a little bit more chaos because then it puts them with North Shore, and it's like it really opens up a lot of the playoff discussion. So we'll see how that one plays out because those are two of the bigger, especially Seven Lakes, two of the bigger schools in that Katy district.
Now it looked like Katy Maid Creek was able to recover or pounce on that onside kick. It looks like they will get out of there with the win.
So Katy Seven Lakes may fall to 1-3, which again puts them. We talked about it. Cinco Ranch and Taylor kind of setting themselves as that third and fourth team in that district. Potentially big implications here if Seven Lakes misses the playoffs.
I like this uniform matchup though. Those
very
bright green helmets and
such a broadcaster take.
I like it. Hey, what can I say?
The contrasting colors. You can see the numbers really well.
Yeah, exactly.
That's such a take from a guy who needs to look at the numbers for a living.
I was just.
I don't disagree. I don't know. I think it's a great matchup.
All right, let's take a look at some more scores around the state. We got 5A D2, Melissa rolling over Mesquite Poteet. South Oak Cliff again. We've been keeping an eye on that. 37-13. Lovejoy.
Texas City there.
Yeah, Texas City, a big. Upset? That would be a pretty big upset.
I was about to say, we'll see. We're curious how much is left in that one, but they're still holding on to that one.
And then we saw Leander. We saw a couple of highlights. We saw some nice plays by some of the receivers, but Belton on upset alert with Leander Rouse right now, down by 12. Frisco Emerson, big win over.
By the way,
Frisco
I think that was
Memorial.
a final Texas City over Fort Bend.
Oh wow!
So I just looked it up right now. So Huge game there. Huge win there for Texas City.
All right, well, I guess that kind of takes us in. We're getting right to the 10 o'clock hour. So, Ish, final thoughts on this whole slate of games?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of fun. I mean, like we mentioned, Katie Jordan, I think, is one of the biggest takeaways for me. Able to shake off that loss last week. Able to really put their foot down as the second team in this district. We mentioned some teams like Barbers Hill. I'm very impressed. I haven't seen much of Carl Abzek's team. This was the first time that I've really gotten to really dive in, and he's done a great job with that Eagles team. And as you're seeing, they're taking. Last we saw, at least, they were really taking control of that game. But credit to Klein Collins. Like, I mean. I'll take you behind the scenes of Dave Campbell's. We might have to rank them. Like they took down Tomball Memorial, and Tomball Memorial was really impressive. But Klein Collins may be working their way up into the rankings. We'll see. We'll see Monday after the Brain Trust that I'm not a part of, by the way. I don't want to throw myself in there. But the Brain Trust discusses the rankings. But Klein Collins, be on the lookout potentially for them jumping into that top of the 6A, Class 6A.
And I know South Oak Cliff ran away with it there in the second half, but Campbell, keep an eye on them. You know, they won 3 in a row, and they kept with Oak Cliff, and we were hearing, from the guys on the call that, hey, they were really keeping, airing it out in that first half, and Oak Cliff, not getting frustrated, but it's like, okay, well, this normally doesn't happen to us.
I was about to say, they're usually resting their starters in the fourth quarter, so we'll see if Kimball can kind of take this and move forward in the district and kind of make something out of it.
All right, hey, so it's been another great week here on Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight. We hope you had as much fun watching it as we certainly did have here on the desk, and I'm sure inside the production room, I'm sure they were having a blast in there. But again, thank you so much for spending your Friday night with us. We'll see you next week, but for our producers, Mallory Hartley, Ashley Pickle, our director, Seth Biley, and for Ish Johnson, I'm Nick Laupia saying good night and have a great weekend.